Across the UK, online and on DAB.
It's a new frontier in broadcasting. The Two Mics on Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
Good afternoon, I'm Mike Graham, he's Mike Parry, you're listening to the Two Mics on Talk Radio. We're here for the summer and we're talking holidays, dangerous fish, vegetarians and the perils of looking for the one. We'll be bringing you a host of guests and we'll even take a few phone calls on 09344 499 1000. Later on in the show we'll be playing a whole new version of Heroes and Villains. If you haven't heard it before, you will love it and you won't want to miss it. You're listening to the Two Mics on Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Now, here we are on Talk Radio. We haven't been here for a while. We've been here before. It's a very familiar and warm, welcoming sort of place. And I'm time to say a very good afternoon to you, Mr. Mike Porky Parry. What on earth are you doing with your microphone?
Well, it's a different studio, this, and it's kind of echoing in my
Yeah, but
ear.
you've been here before, though.
Yeah, but I hope I've got
the microphone looks the right way up.
I hope it's got the right way around.
Does it have a little arrow pointing towards...
Well, this is the point. I'm trying to
there
find
you go.
out.
That's where you are, is absolutely there. Right there.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah,
well, I'm getting the big thumbs up from the beautiful people
okay,
behind the glass.
Fine. Thank you very much
no,
indeed.
You don't
that's
turn
great.
around to talk to them.
No,
You
no.
just talk into the microphone.
Listen, just shut up, will you?
Jesus
Let's get on with it.
Christ almighty. I mean, how long have you been a broadcaster for now? 20 years?
How was your weekend?
It was very good, thank you.
Why?
Because it's my birthday this week.
Yeah,
and one of the things that we do in my family
and you're going on holiday next week.
I am, and we celebrate birthdays over more than one day.
Oh, do you?
So I woke up yesterday morning to the what can only be described as the birthday table.
Oh, yes.
Where my children decorate the dining table with all kinds of nice balloons.
Is this because you abandon your family during the week, so they have to do things to you at the weekend?
Not really, no, because they will be joining me on my actual birthday, to which you have not been invited. On Wednesday afternoon, we'll be going to a very nice, expensive restaurant in the sky.
What do you mean I've not been invited?
You haven't been invited.
I'm an integral part of your life.
No, you're not.
And if you're having a birthday, then I should be on the guest list.
Well, I mean, after what happened last year, well, I've invited my family.
Oh.
My daughter, my two sons, and the mother of my children.
Good
Unfortunately, my other son can't be with us. If you want to come for a drink and then leave, that would be fine.
Thanks.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, I'll just come here for 10 minutes, buy you all a very expensive drink, you know, like I normally do.
Do you know the place
we're
going?
Push off.
Do you know the place we're going, right? I looked on the menu and I was looking at it with my son the other day. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is because I don't want you following me there.
I'm not going to follow you
the
anywhere.
The wine list begins,
You're
right?
better off on your own, as far as I'm concerned.
The wine list begins with a bottle of Dom Perignon. Guess how much?
375.
645 quid.
Wow, that's quite expensive.
Yeah,
don't know why you go to places like that.
The hamburgers start at £18.50.
£18.50 for a hamburger.
And even
didn't you see my voucher last week?
Yes.
My voucher last week, McDonald's with a voucher.
Yeah.
£1.95. No, £1.99.
£1.99, yeah.
Yeah, quarter pounder with cheese and chips.
Is that your phone going off?
No.
Why is there a noise?
I've no idea.
Well, your phone is going off. Can you not switch it off?
It's not. It's nothing to do with me.
Why are you lying?
Please, just go on.
All right. So, the point is that even my own son said to me, isn't it a bit unfair, Daddy, that you have to pay for your own birthday dinner?
Well, who should?
Well, somebody else should, shouldn't they?
Like who?
I don't know, somebody else that's, hosting me.
What, you think you have an entitlement to be able to get other people to buy
for example, if it was my daughter's birthday,
yes,
I would be buying her dinner.
Yes.
If it was your birthday, I'd be buying you dinner.
No, you wouldn't.
Well, if you wanted me to. Well, if you wanted me to, I would.
Doubt it very much indeed.
The point is that nobody who's coming has got any money, so I have to pay for the dinner.
Yeah, so
it's cost me a fortune.
So you're whinging now about the fact that as a father and a husband, you have to actually...
I'm not a husband.
You have to, all right,
as
the father
married.
Of children and the partner of the mother of your children, you've got to provide funds for them. Honestly, you are a weasel.
No,
you are a weasel. That's the only word for you.
Look, this is my birthday week. I'm expecting you to be extra nice to me.
Yeah, well, you can forget that, pal. Yeah.
Have you seen this woman who was kidnapped in Italy? Have you seen what's going on the TV, the interviews she's doing? She's got a dog. She's got her...
she's described as a sort of page 3 girl.
Yeah.
But I think she looks incredibly untraumatised by the fact that she was nearly... according to herself, kidnapped into the
dark web.
The dark web, and she was going to spend the rest of her life as a sex slave, being passed around from man to man for the purposes of the pleasure of the flesh. And that when, I read one this morning, when they tired of her, she would then become tiger meat, which I think means that you get killed and fed to the animals and that kind of stuff. Really? And she seems...
It's a family show, this,
I know, but she seems incredibly able to have got over all this trauma and come back and tell us all about it.
She doesn't look at all bothered.
No, No.
And in fact, she's frolicking around with a little dog.
Yeah.
Wearing hardly any clothes.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Very weird story. Anyway, we'll get back to that later on, because we've got lots to talk about today, right? In addition to the fact that, as you quite rightly said, it's my birthday this week. I'm going on holiday next week. And what are you going to do, by the way, when I'm away?
I'm going to keep working.
What do you mean? When you say you're going to keep working, what do you mean?
Well, I'm going to keep working here on Talk Radio.
What, you're going to do this show on your own, are you?
Yes, I am.
Because I've got a much better idea for
What?
you. I think you should do it with Carol Malone.
Carol Malone, why not, yeah. Well, no, she might make comments on my,
I mean, you and she know each other for a long time ago.
Absolutely, but she might start giving me marks out of 10 for things.
Match made out of heaven, isn't it?
No, I don't think we'll go there.
All right.
Now, I'll tell you one person we'd like to talk to today, or maybe sometime this week. Chris Eubank.
Chris Eubank,
now,
yeah.
Chris Eubank.
Or English, as he's sometimes known.
English, as he's sometimes known, the pugilist.
Yes.
He always referred to himself, when I used to talk to him, as the pugilist.
Oh, yeah.
Now, he got a terrible slapping from his second wife in a newspaper
over the course
weekend.
of this weekend, yeah. What is going on? What's in the water with these boxers, by the way? Because Amir Khan's had his run-in, hasn't he?
Right.
Mrs. Khan.
That's right.
He's accused Anthony Joshua
of being sucked into it all.
Being
drawn into it all.
That kind of phrase. But, I mean, Anthony Joshua denies it, of course. There's nothing to do with him. But, the world's gone a bit mad,
well, they do get hit in the head a lot, and that's exactly what Chris Eubank's wife... No, that's what Chris Eubank's wife said. Perhaps he's so eccentric. But she alleged that he'd been rather strange to her, that he'd taken money from her, that he'd not been terribly supportive at times. All allegations, of course, which we can't stand up. But that's just what the second wife has been saying.
Yes.
She's got a very high-powered job in a Middle East airline.
Oh, has she?
So, he was able to fly all around the world and all that kind of stuff.
Well, that's one of the great things that I'm amazed you've never done, is find yourself a girlfriend that works for an airline, so you can just fly everywhere for nothing.
I did once. I once went out with an air hostess, as they're called in those days.
A member of air crew, I think
you find. Cabin crew, for Air Seychelles.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a pretty good airline to be associated with.
They've got 2 planes, haven't they?
There were about 3, I think.
Well, they fly anywhere.
They fly to the Seychelles.
They fly to the Seychelles from the next island over.
Yeah, I know, but the Seychelles is not a bad place to fly to, 3 times a year.
It's not much use if you live in London, though.
No, it is, because they fly to London. They fly from the Seychelles to London.
Really?
That's the whole point. Yeah,
Are you sure?
Seychelles, I went on them myself.
What was her name, then?
I can't remember.
You can't remember?
She lived on Reigate Hill.
Really?
Yeah, and...
she wasn't from the Seychelles, then?
No, of course she wasn't.
Wasn't Michelle, my belle, from the Seychelles?
No, she wasn't. But, the most astonishing claim from Mrs. Eubank was that when they were in expensive restaurants, about halfway through the second course, Chris Eubank would suddenly get up, and then he'd walk around the restaurant and introduce himself to every table individually.
Yeah.
And even if the people made it absolutely clear they hadn't got a clue who he was, it didn't put him off.
Right.
He'd stay there for 5 minutes, and the pugilist, and tell them...
My name is English.
My name is English. I'm the
Why does he do that?
I don't know, but she says he has a desperate, constant need to be in the spotlight and to be admired by people all the time.
He's a very odd guy. I once spent an afternoon with him at the Pride of Britain when I used to work for the Mirror.
Yeah.
And we'd have these big tables set up, and I was the one on this particular table. I have to say, it's quite a long way from the stage. It was definitely the low rent end of the room.
Sure.
Paul McCartney was on the other end of the room with, old, what's her name? Pegleg. What was her name?
Oh, come on. Do you mind?
Heather Mills.
Heather Mills, yeah.
So anyway.
Poor lady lost her leg in an accident with a police motorcycle.
I know, shocking. Anyway, so he was there with his first wife, who was a lovely woman, and I started chatting to her, and he was kind of between us.
Yes.
She was between him and I.
That's right.
So I was talking to her, she was on my immediate left. He decided to take sort of a bit of umbrage at me for talking to his wife.
Who did?
Chris Eubank.
Oh, I see.
Because I was getting on quite well with her.
Right.
She was making her laugh.
This must have been his first wife, presumably.
It was, I think, yeah. And he suddenly started getting a bit sort of antsy with me.
Yeah.
And so I started making fun of him, particularly what he was wearing, because he was wearing some ridiculous tie, a ridiculous suit, making himself look a bit of a clown.
He went through a sleeveless period when all his clothes, including his suits, didn't have sleeves.
Yeah, it wasn't a sleeveless suit, but the tie was ludicrously tight. It was one of those ridiculously big, thick knots.
Sure.
And he really didn't like having the mickey taken out of him. Yes. And he started to get quite angry.
Yeah.
And actually, at one point,
not a good thing to do when you've got a boxer sitting next to you.
Threatened to take me outside and do me over.
Well, that would have been a problem because that happened on another occasion.
Yes.
We, in the early days...
Seen the time, by the way.
Yeah, don't worry about this. This is a great story. In the early days of Talk Sport, the person running it then, who wasn't terribly good at things, paid £175,000.
Well, not one of those people in the media who manages to get quite a good job even though he's useless.
Yeah, exactly.
Staggering.
Completely useless, managed to lose money hand over fist and all that. But one example of how we quickly managed to lose it was we paid £175,000 for a fight in New York. I can't even remember whose fight it was. It doesn't matter. And we flew...
exclusive rights.
Exclusive rights.
Yeah.
We flew the whole crew out there, you know what I mean? And this is going to be, the big one on the Saturday night and all that, and do the weigh-in. Weigh-ins are incredibly boring because nothing happens in weigh-ins, and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the fight lasted, I think, 1 minute 20 seconds,
yes.
right? But huge amounts of money. But in the build-up to the fight, down at Madison Square Garden, the
pugilist wasn't involved in the fight, I presume.
No, the pugilist was going to co-commentate for us, you see,
right.
and that's what he was there for. So the guy who was then, what's known as the PD, the program director, asked Chris to be at Madison Square Garden at sort of 3 o'clock in the afternoon or something on a practice day, and he didn't turn up till 6 because he'd been shopping for some extremely expensive clothes and all this kind of stuff,
which he presumably was hoping to put the station was going to pay for.
I think that was the idea. Yeah, I think it was the idea. Because he needed proper attire to take up his role on radio, and when the PD, who remained nameless, although people know who I'm talking about, complained about this, Eubank actually very, very nearly punched him, but didn't, because his reflexes and his control is so good. Yeah. He managed to whip a punch towards him,
and then just stopped his hand.
Stopped 1/10 of an inch away from the chin. Right. But it so shocked the PD, and he went white and fell over anyway. You know what I mean? Because he thought he was going to be smacked in the chin by a former world middleweight champion.
Yeah, absolutely shocking stuff. Now we've got lots to be getting on with. If you are out there, Mr. Eubank, you can give us a call, of course, because we'd like to hear your side of the story. Yeah. It's all about fairness here at Talk Radio. What you don't want to do is upset anyone, because you've done that a lot in your life, and that's one of the reasons why.
So you're talking about me or Mr. Eubank?
No, you.
Well, Mr. Eubank's upset a few people.
Well, he has, but I mean, he's entitled to do that.
Drive up and down Whitehall in his lorry, pulling his horn.
That's right, he's entitled to do that.
Hooting his horn.
That's exactly right. We've got lots of tweets. You can tweet us, of course, at the Two Mics. You can tweet us as well at Talk Radio. You can call us if you wish as well. The number, of course, 0344 499 1000. We're going to be talking about holidays, how you can get to Spain and Portugal, saving yourself a couple of grand by going via Scotland. This is Talk Radio.
Take the high road.
The 21st century dream team of dialogue, debate and discourse. The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
This is Talk Radio. We are the Two Mics. We're here for the summer, and when I say the summer, I mean we're here until about the middle of next week, because then I'm going on holiday, and then Porky claims he's going to do the show on his own, which should be very amusing indeed. Of course it will be. You won't want to miss that.
No.
You sure you can handle it on your own?
Well, I'm looking forward to it very much indeed, because unencumbered by your mad mood swings, which is a result of your lifestyle, and your
there's nothing wrong with my mood.
Your often range of white, red, rosé, whiskey. I mean, I think that happens more than just Friday nights these days, because you seem to be increasingly forlorn sometimes when I'm sitting across the studio from you.
That's absolutely incorrect. Yeah. Anyway, listen, I know you hate holidays. You don't like doing anything other than working because you've got such a boring life. However, nice. I'm going away on holiday next week, but what I wished I'd known before I booked the holiday was if I'd gone via Scotland, I could have got it for an awful lot cheaper.
Well, how's this
Because
work?
Apparently, airports, depending on which airport you fly from in this particular part of the year, you can save yourself thousands, right?
Yep.
Thousands. And we've got a man who's going to tell us exactly how it works.
Exactly.
James Hickman, who is the commercial director of Fair FX. James, a very good afternoon to you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to you.
Now,
Hi, James.
I was staggered when I read this story in the Times this morning, that particularly the one from Heathrow to Faro, in which you could spend £2,941 to fly a family of 4 from Heathrow to Faro next Saturday. But if you went from Glasgow International Airport, you could get it for £201.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
The difference in different airports is enormous, and when people are searching. So this came about, actually, over the last couple of years, we've done some research on currency exchange and costs of different airports, and we noticed there was a huge range of costs. And in fact, Scotland, as it happened, was one of the more expensive, with the London base being slightly cheaper. So it got us thinking, what about flights? And so we conducted this research, and as you can see from it, the range is just enormous.
Yeah, James, is this down to what the airports charge airlines to land and take off on their runways, or is it simply a marketing tool to get people to use airports in major population centres?
Partly, I mean, a lot of it's down to where budget airlines fly from and some of the competition. So obviously, the more competitive it is, the lower the prices tend to be.
Yep.
But actually, in very, very popular times, and everyone knows this, summer holidays, school holidays, prices go up dramatically.
Yeah.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it costs more for an airline to land in, say, Heathrow than it does to Glasgow, but the prices aren't necessarily reflective of the true cost to the airline.
No, I know what you mean. Now, James, can you explain this on a wider scale for me? I've got family live down on the south coast, OK? I had a nephew who was at Newcastle University who would fly from Southampton. Yeah, Southampton to Newcastle, OK? I've got family who sometimes when they go on a European holiday, they fly from Bournemouth. Now, these airports are dreamland compared to the hub airports around London and even Birmingham and Manchester. Why don't the aviation industry spread out more flights to these airports? You almost walk straight onto the plane at Bournemouth and Southampton, whereas you can spend up to 4 hours, as we all know, getting through Gatwick.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in fact, I've just come to Jersey and flown from Southampton.
Right.
Now, I'm much closer to Gatwick, but like you say, it takes hours to go through security, and in fact, the cost of the flight was almost double at Gatwick going to Jersey, whereas Southampton was a lot cheaper.
Yeah, so why don't more people use them?
Well, I mean, I suppose if you knew that you would save a bunch of money, I mean, one of the ways it's explained in the piece in the Times about going to Glasgow, right? You could travel first class on a train from Euston to Glasgow, stay a night at the Blytheswood Square Hotel where we've stayed. That's where we stayed when we did our shows there, right? And still get an airport to the limousine and still save more than $2,000. I mean, it's worth doing, isn't it?
Of course it is, and what you find is, particularly the sort of regional hub airports, the parking as well is a lot cheaper.
Right.
So you even if it's 20, 30 miles more, you're saving not only on the flight but also on the parking as well.
Sure. Yeah. Now, one of the reasons why Scotland is particularly interesting to me, and it may well be for people planning a late holiday even now, is that they go back to school a lot earlier, which is partly why this particular deal is cheaper, because as soon as school holidays kick in, the prices go down by about 50, sometimes 75%. So that's the case here, isn't it, James?
Yeah, absolutely. So you find that out of school holidays, things come down dramatically, and if you can be a bit more flexible, so if you don't have to take kids, for example, far better to try and book outside, even to the point of a day can make an enormous difference.
No, but what I'm saying is that, I have got kids, and lots of people down south could say, right, let's go via Scotland, because their schools have gone back, and that's I suppose what I'm trying to tell people who are booking late holidays.
I think people don't necessarily think about making a longer journey. So to save, people don't think, I'm going to save more money if I travel, an extra 100 miles to another airport. But it absolutely makes it worthwhile, and I'm surprised more people don't do it. Obviously, the airlines are not going to advertise that fact. But, this is partly the reason we've done this, to try and make people aware that things can be cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, airlines charge the maximum they can get to fill their aeroplanes. I understand that's a commercial business, but hasn't the traveller got to be a bit more savvy now? I mean, in the modern world of websites and Google and all that, you're a fool to yourself if you don't look for the best possible price, aren't you?
Absolutely. I mean, there are plenty of comparison sites and whatever where you can search flights. Now, one thing I would say is actually just be careful of searching the same flight over and over again, because what you do find is cookies, so tracking what you're doing, can actually, you can see your price go up, even if on the same search, when you come back literally 5 minutes later, you might find actually the price has gone up a bit.
Well, do you know what? Somebody told me, we recently booked some flights, and because we had to change them within 48 hours of booking them from a Monday to a Tuesday, the cost of each flight, and this is to America, went up £300. Now, somebody said to me, do you know what?
Tuesday's apparently the worst day to fly.
Apparently it's the worst day of flying, but also they said to me, airline flights are now, so voluminous, it's almost like dealing with the stock market. Depends what the demand is on those flights on that particular day, and if you're unlucky and there's a big surge in demand, the price will just shoot up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it can literally change in 10 minutes, as I say. From looking once, then you look again, prices can go up significantly.
Now, I don't know whether you're qualified to answer this question, James. I don't particularly want to reveal where I'm going for my summer holiday, because Porky followed me the last time, last summer. And
to make his holiday better.
Turned up at my swimming pool in a very lavish villa in Mallorca. But I'm going to the country of Greece, is all I'm saying. What's the situation there with the economy in terms of whether you take a load of cash with you, whether it's like recovered from what it was like before? Are they taking credit cards? Do you happen to know?
Yeah, so they are taking credit cards. It's good to have a bit of cash with you, but take a currency card or some method of card spending, and you'll be absolutely fine. In fact, in Greece they welcome the tourism industry,
right.
And what you will find is they're very, very friendly. And actually, you can get some pretty good deals there.
OK, well, they'll be making plenty of money out of me, I'm sure, just as people do wherever I go. But listen, thank you very much indeed. James Hickman there, Commercial Director of Fair FX, telling us about the ins and outs of flying from different airports. How about this one, right? From Lanzarote, from Belfast International, right? It will cost you £1,734.
Yeah.
If you went from Prestwick in Scotland, which is only a short hop away from Northern Ireland, 426.
You can get there on the ferry, can't you? You get to Scotland on the ferry.
But,
and I mean, it's a bit inconvenient, but it's save yourself £600. It's well worth it.
But what I'm saying, imagine, that is a saving of £1,300.
I know, yeah.
That's incredible. And if you want to go to Palma, Mallorca, where you flew, from East Midlands, 826. Birmingham, which is just across the road, practically,
it is
322.
Do you know it's about 40 minutes on a motorway to get from one to the other?
So you save more than 50%.
I want people to heed my advice, which I just talked to the expert about. Get onto the website and look for the best possible deal.
Well, yeah, but you didn't listen to
what
he said.
Why should you be stung?
Yeah, but don't start, going all over the web and planting your great big footprint there, because the more you search for it, the more the price goes up.
No. You do it subtly.
Plonker.
You do it subtly. You don't even have to do it under your own name.
What do you use to do it subtly?
What do you use subtly? I'm not going to tell you, because other people might start doing it, and then I lose my advantage.
Is that right?
Yeah.
OK, right. Well, I'm going to tell you about the delays that are happening over in Europe as well coming up shortly.
Oh, really?
Because apparently they're all vanished.
Yeah.
So I'm going to accuse you and your mates in the tabloid business of making a crisis out of nothing.
I don't have any mates.
This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
We are the Two Mics. You're listening to Talk Radio. We've got lots going on. We were just talking to James Hickman there, Commercial Director of Fair FX, who was telling us why some people are paying 14 times more to use the costliest airports. I'm going to be talking about holidays as well coming up shortly, because apparently, all these delays that we were being told about, that, if you went to...
4 hours.
Have you heard of Barcelona's airport, by the way?
Barcelona.
La Prat Airport.
La Prat Airport.
So I think that's how you pronounce it. But apparently they were having terrible queues there, but that was largely down to the fact that there was some kind of strike going on.
Yeah.
But we were told, if you go to Palma, if you go to Nice Airport, if you go anywhere in the southern Mediterranean, it's going to take you 4 hours to get through customs and immigration and all the rest of it. They said it was because there was all sorts of problems with Brexit.
That's right, the revenge of the Europeans.
It was all about that, and the Daily Mail were really, really thrusting this argument at us, telling us, don't go to Europe, it's an absolute nightmare. Well, guess what? All the delays have vanished. There's pictures in the Times this morning of empty halls, places where there's all, those lines that they make up for sheep to stand in line and turn into a sort of a snake, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely nobody around. People saying it took us 10 seconds to get through the immigration queue. So once again, another false flag put up by your mates in the tabloid press.
It wasn't a false flag, and they're not my mates in the tabloid press. We both worked in the tabloid press. It was happening. It happened. Protests were made. That is the power of the press, mate, not the fault of the press.
So you're claiming that they've reacted to this now and decided to fix it?
Of course they have, because you wouldn't believe how much money Britons as a nation put into the continent by going on holiday there.
The continent.
If you make it unpleasant, we won't go. And by the way, talking about that, there's this movement now started. Funny you should mention Barcelona, the Basque Country and all that. Now spread to Palma, which you also mentioned, right?
Be very careful what you say, by the way, because Marta behind the glass there is from that part of the world.
Well, I know, but I mean, she is the epitome.
So she will be able to pick you up on any small error that you make.
No, she is the epitome of the perfect European citizen.
Is that right?
What I mean? Yeah. What I'm talking about are these people going around. Sorry?
How do you mean that?
Well, I mean, she's balanced. She's intelligent.
Really?
She's the product of a great European programme.
Is that right?
Okay. Now,
why are you so desperate to get out of it then?
I'm not desperate to get out of anything.
You're always going on about how great Brexit's going to be.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. And I didn't vote for Brexit.
Didn't you?
And I didn't vote for Remain.
Are you sure?
I didn't vote.
So you didn't vote at all?
No, I didn't.
So what, you didn't care which happened? Which way it went?
I cared, but I was too frightened to make a mistake either way. And it looks like I was right.
Yeah.
If we'd all done nothing, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Paralysed into fear. What, you mean we should have all abstained?
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, that would have been a smart move.
Exactly.
Did you see Cameron, by the way, at the weekend? Who, as usual, has proved himself to be completely and utterly useless at, once again, giving up smoking. He claimed that he had some success in giving up smoking. Yeah. Typical Cameron-esque phrase, right? I've had some success. Well, either you've had success or you haven't.
He smokes with his left hand.
He smokes with his left hand.
Yeah.
Why is that amazing?
Well, because most people don't. Most people smoke with their right hand.
Well, maybe he's left-handed.
No, well, he's not. He's not. And he had a drink in his right hand, which his priority is, or drink first,
maybe
cigarette
he's hiding
second.
the cigarette.
Maybe. Yeah. But let me just finish here, right? In places like Barcelona and Palma, which you mentioned as well, slogans like "Tourists go home" have appeared on the walls.
Really?
Because there's now this sort of movement, and we've seen a little bit of this in this country, because, you know, like when people go walking up Ben Nevis now, they damage the paths on the end, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
When people go walking up Snowdonia.
So what this is about people doing damage?
Well, what a lot of people are saying is that, you know, rural Europe, you know, places like Tuscany and all that, used to be a nice place until of the influx of millions of tourists. Yeah. And the two countries which are blamed for, like, destroying Europe through tourism are Germany and England.
Well, the two sort of beach towel brigade countries, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So you should do what I've always said, and that is there are a million places in this country to explore, in your own country, Great Britain, a wonderful country.
Stop banging the desk, please.
If you're born in this country, you've won life's lottery, okay?
Well, see, that's the thing that annoys people.
No, why?
What sort of rubbish is that?
Why is that
rubbish? You're born in this country, you've won life's lottery.
You have.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying that I'm so delighted I was born in Britain.
You are at the top of the tree.
Not top of the tree.
The human race.
Not top of the tree.
Not a lot of old rubbish.
Not elitist, not better than anybody else, just lucky to have been born on this sceptred isle.
Why?
Okay? Because it's a beautiful sceptred isle, that's why. Because
isn't it luckier if you come here from another country and just claim all the benefits?
People here this country has a fantastic reputation of welcoming those from overseas who want to come here and contribute to our great society.
I see.
And I'm fully of that voice. We've just got to make sure it's organised properly so that everybody has a great life.
Have you been swallowing sensible pills over the weekend?
No, not at all.
You seem very normal today.
Not at all.
You're not mad at all.
Getting on about David Cameron as well.
Yeah.
Do you think he's literally suffering trauma because he's not Prime Minister anymore?
Well, I think not only
is he
suffering
so oddly.
Yeah, not only is he suffering from trauma from not being Prime Minister anymore, he's also suffering trauma from having caused the greatest possible schism and chasm in Europe since World War II.
That's right.
And what a complete plank.
That's right. Now, when he was Prime Minister, of course, it was all, you know, let's get on the budget flights and all this, right? Yeah. Now, I had a report over the weekend to say, actually, the £2,600 first-class seats now seem to be order of the day more with the Cameron family.
Why wouldn't they be?
Well, why weren't they when he was Prime Minister?
Well, because he was trying to pretend that he... Well, he was never pretending to be a man of the people, but he had to do... Because you have to in this country now. You have to pretend to be somebody who cares about those who have less than you have.
Yeah, that's right. No,
otherwise you're going to be crucified.
And I see that Sam Cam, you know, who's
wealthier than he is, by the way.
Well, her family are certainly wealthier than his family. That's absolutely right. Particularly, I think, her mother's second husband, who's a Viscount, isn't he?
Or something like that.
I see that...
He owns a couple of Viscounts.
I see that she committed the arch sin of allowing, you know, a photographer in to do a piece for
Homes and Gardens
or Home and Country Life or something like that, which reveals that their, quote, country cottage is actually worth about £2.5 million quid in the Cotswolds.
Well,
so then, when everybody's saying, well, look how rich they are, she then starts saying... Of course, the damp-proof course is gone, and it's a bit tatty. It needs a lick over. We can't really afford a gardener. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Oh, I know.
Why don't people just accept that, look, this is us in life, this is what we've got, and I'm sorry that not many other people have.
No, because we live in this because we live in this world now of people who are absolutely and utterly confused, idiotic, and unable to think for themselves. So when somebody tells them, like Jeremy Corbyn, oh, well, that must be a bad person over there because they've got a big house. That must be another bad person over there. Look, they work in the bank. Oh, look, there's another bad person driving a nice car.
That's right.
And all these stupid people go, those terrible people, they're the ones that are oppressing us. Yeah. They're making us do things we don't want to do.
Mr. Cameron's problem always was trying to scale down, because when you've been through the upbringing he had, when you've been to Eton and then Oxford, when you've been privileged and everything you've done in life, and by the way, I have no problem with that. His father was a stockbroker, so he led a stockbroker's life.
I feel sorry for him.
I live in Stockbroker Belt, Surrey. I know how these people live, okay?
You don't. You live in a horrible sort of one up, two down, nasty, ghastly, sort of crime-ridden area with fly tipping down the road, with sort of, you know, paint peeling off the ceiling.
Your envy and your malice.
I've seen pictures of your place.
Your envy and your malice at the way I've constructed my life.
There's no envy.
Is overwhelming.
No.
You've been to my place on the coast, haven't you? It's rather nice.
Well, that's a lot nicer actually than the place you've got in what you call Stockbroker Belt, Surrey.
Well, one is on the south coast of England, and the other one is, you know, in the Shires in Stockbroker Belt.
It's not in the Shires. It's just about 5 minutes from Croydon.
Anyway, let me just say this. The way that... I'll tell you what, David Cameron came in here when he was the leader of the opposition, okay?
Yes.
And it was about a year before the election. They won the tea.
Well, I mean, he's always been badly advised, right?
Oh, terribly badly advised.
I mean, whichever idiot told him to come and do an interview with you.
Yeah.
I mean, how was that ever going to help his career?
Well, exactly. So he came, I think it must have been, it wasn't you and I, was it?
No,
so it must have been me and Andy Townsend.
No, it was you and Andy Townsend.
That's right. So he comes into the studio and, he knew nothing about football or sport or anything. Right. And we said, Mr. Cameron, thank you very much for coming to join us today.
Yeah.
He said... And,
was he pretending to be an Aston Villa fan then?
He wasn't even that. But he came in and he was holding a cup, a mug of tea with the TalkSport logo on it. Right. And he walked over to me and showed me his cup and said... Always got time for TalkSport, Mike. Yeah. Like I was his best mate. You know what I mean?
But they do all that, don't they? They do all that. I mean, that's what they're told to do by their spin doctors. Yeah. But unfortunately, it didn't work for him, and he did make a cataclysmic error. We've got lots more to do, lots more to talk about. We can still
police stations.
Eh?
Seeing how many police stations are closing down?
Yes,
400 police stations.
I didn't know we had that many, to be honest.
I don't know, but they everywhere you go now, they get a little bell, and you ring the bell, and some bloke like from 80 miles away says, "What's the problem?" You say, "There's a bloke with an axe chasing me down the pavement here," and the police station's shut. Oh, well, don't worry, go to Reigate. There's one open there.
Trouble is, I'm bleeding from the head severely. Anyway, we'll get more information on that. And, of course, you can call us on 0344 499 1000. People are asking why you haven't given out the number in a non-mangled way, but I'll give you that in a minute. This is Talk Radio.
The 21st century dream team of dialogue, debate and discourse. The two mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
We are the two Mikes. This is Talk Radio. Mike Parry and Mike Graham, of course. There will be a podcast coming out. A lot of people have said, please be very careful that the podcast comes out on time because, it doesn't always happen. Well, we can tell you that the guys here at Talk Radio are absolutely on top of that, and the podcast will be out more than likely about 2 hours or less after the show's over at 4 o'clock.
Yeah, we're aiming for an hour.
Hey?
We're aiming for an hour.
Well, we can aim for an hour.
1 hour deadline.
There's no point in being too optimistic on the first day.
I like to be optimistic.
Now, how about this from SK? He says, different station, Parry still speaking tosh.
No, I'm not speaking tosh. And by the way, folks, because we want you to try and contact us here, please.
Hang on, wait, before you do that, I've got a request, actually, from, where is it? Somebody who's asking for you to read the note. Simon, now that you're on Talk Radio, could Mike Parry please read out the new number as slowly as possible?
Well, it's not as slow as possible. What I do is I read it out in what I call the non-mangled mouth fashion.
Is that right?
The problem is that some of us here at TalkSport become so over-familiar with the number because we love our people to contact us that people read out 0871.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's not the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is this. We want you to contact us, please.
Yes.
Give us a call. It's the two Mikes on Talk Radio. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
And the number is this.
Go on.
And the reason I read it like this is so you can absorb it into your brain, imprint it on your brain, or even maybe write it down so you can get hold of us.
How about you put it into your phone?
And put it into your phone. Put it into your phone and give us a call. Yeah. And the number is...
We're going to be here all week, by the way.
We're going to be here all week. In fact, I'm going to be here all this week and next week after you push off to throw yourself into a swimming pool.
I'm going to be here next week as well.
Right, the number is, folks, 0344 499 1000.
So that's 0344 4s or 3 4s?
Didn't you listen?
Hey?
I will repeat it.
03 and then 3 4s.
No. 0344 499 1000.
Okay, so that's 03 and then 3. It's an easy way to remember it. 03, 3 4s, 2 9s and 1000.
Yes, but you're confusing people because I've read it out as 0344 499 1000.
Okay, how about this from Wilson? He says, hi guys, whatever happened to Porky's lady friend from his flight back from Mallorca?
Oh, yes.
That was last year.
Yes.
When you met the lovely Sarah
That's
on the
right.
flight back. There was bladderisation involved.
Yeah.
What's happened to her?
Oh, what do you mean what's happened to her? I mean, I have a wide range of friends, a wide scope of friends.
You've never introduced her to me.
Well, I mean, I didn't want our relationship to end by introducing her to a man who, with one lecherous look could scare a woman at 50 yards.
Is that right?
It's as simple as that.
Jane says, David Cameron is left-handed, Porky, you plank. So that's why he'd be smoking with his left hand then?
Well, I don't accept that.
Well, you don't think he is left-handed?
Well, he may be ambidextrous. What's your problem?
I don't think he's anything.
The world's most famous living rock star is ambidextrous.
Who's that?
Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney's ambidextrous?
Yes.
Really?
Paul McCartney...
What's that got to do with David Cameron smoking?
Paul McCartney eats with a knife in his right hand. He writes with his right hand.
Yeah.
He plays the bass guitar as the most famous musician in the world with his left hand.
He's not actually, but we'll come back to that.
He's not actually what?
The most famous musician in the world.
Who do you think is?
I don't know, but I don't think it's him.
Who do you think is that?
I don't think it's Paul McCartney.
Well, who do you think it is?
Well, it'd be somebody who's a bit more modern, I would say.
No.
At the moment, I would say somebody a bit more modern.
No, the longest... All right, I'll say the longest-standing famous musician in the world.
Maybe, but I don't think he's the most famous. The only reason I say
Him
that...
and Mick Jagger, I would say.
Well, no, because you're of a certain age. If you go to somebody who's 15 and you ask them about Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger, they may have some vague of them, but they would say to you that, somebody like Justin Bieber's far bigger, far more famous, got far more Twitter followers, far more Instagram followers.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that.
All that kind of thing.
I totally agree, but a 15-year-old does not rule the world. You've got to wait till you're 18 to be able to vote for Jeremy Corbyn.
But they buy a lot of music.
Yeah, of course they buy a lot of music.
What I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Now, how about this from Wrong Star? Can Marta behind the glass teach Porky some real Spanish phrases to replace the Spanglish gibberish he regularly puts in his tweets?
No, I know plenty of Spanish. How about
Spanglish.
this? Cuanto para mucho, mi amores. How about that?
What's that from?
That's a line from the Sun King in it's another Beatles
song.
Yeah.
It's a Beatles song.
That's where I learned my Spanish.
And what does it mean?
What does it mean?
Yeah.
How much do you love me?
How much do I love you?
No,
Not at
you
all.
idiot.
I hate you. I actually hate you.
That's
I'm only sitting here because
that's a translation of that.
I've been forced to. It says here by Mr. Paul Turner, not Paul Breen Turner, who's a different character, who, by the way, is still bobbing around somewhere off the coast of Gibraltar.
Gibraltar, that's right.
Your voices sound different on Talk Radio than Talk Sport.
Yeah, well, that's because...
Are the microphones set up differently?
No, they're not set up differently. We just have a different persona when we have to put our serious hats on sometimes. Simple. Well, I mean, we have serious hats all the time.
All the time? We're serious journalists.
We are serious
we've won awards, on this station.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Here's one from Simon in Windsor. Talk, the only thing more annoying than listening to Porky's rants is his constant banging of the desk.
No, I'm not banging the desk.
Can he please stop it, as it's very distracting?
Nothing to do with me.
Really?
Now, I want to tell you about something,
Go
okay? A new app has cropped up, okay? And it's called Circus, Surkus.
Circus.
Yeah, now this is great for you and I, okay?
Yes.
What this app does is it puts together people who are holding parties, but not like, huge parties from, which Mohammed Al-Fayed might throw, for his, 80th birthday party or something like that.
Uh-huh.
These are regular parties in regular homes around Britain. Somewhat upmarket, I suppose, because there's spare money around in the family to be able to hire a couple of celebrities to come along and make the party sing.
Okay.
So if you're having, for instance, you one of these days your sons will be 21, and you have the 21st birthday party, and you think, well, what about Justin Bieber? Now, you probably wouldn't get Justin Bieber.
Well, do you know, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? Because you read more and more about some of these rock stars, particularly the older ones like Elton John, and
they get $1.5 million.
Rihanna's done it. I think Beyonce's done it, and sometimes they're going to places that people politically would rather they didn't go.
Yes.
But, for one night, they get $1 million or
they
something.
They do,
and
absolutely.
they go and perform at somebody's party.
Yeah, but this is not quite at that level. It's say you were having a 21st birthday party and you had it in, I don't know, the conservatory at your home, all right?
Yeah,
and,
I haven't got a conservatory, but never mind.
Exactly.
I could build one specially.
Yeah, that's right. And your son's got a load of his mates around, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, then you think, now, who could I get round? Now, it may, for instance, be, a sort of B-rated pop star or something like that, somebody who's been on the X Factor or something.
Okay.
And all of a sudden you introduce them and everybody gets happy. Well, this new app, Circus, it puts together people who both want celebrities and those who are there.
Could you get one of those blokes from Spandau Ballet?
Probably. Now, I thought this would be great for us, because although we're of a certain age, there are certain people who might be having a 50th birthday party or something like that.
What, you mean you want to expand our empire even
definitely.
further?
I want to sign up to this circus.
We're busy enough.
Well, we need to get busier, because I don't think your work ethic is anything like mine. I'm constantly dragging you around like
but the problem
a
is...
tyre on a chain over my shoulder, you know what I mean?
The problem is you're going
to... And I want you to get busy.
If you don't take some more time off, you'll drop dead, though.
Well, there are signs that might be happening.
It's not very exciting if you invite some people round to liven up your party and one of them dies.
That's right.
While they're there.
No. But, you can get like $1,000 a night for this thing. It was launched in America, but it's now spread to this country.
Right.
And I just thought that,
that's enough, is it?
Oh, it's not enough for us. No, but I'm talking about a real sort of Z-list type person. You know what I mean? yeah. But
like Bryan Adams.
Yeah, I can see this as a very lucrative new spoke in the Two Mics wheel.
Well, have you got in touch with these people?
Well, no, I'm about to. I was going to discuss it with you first to make sure that you knew what I was doing.
That's very kind. Normally you don't bother.
Because I don't want you to suddenly get a call from somebody saying, can you come to this party on Friday night? Yeah. And you swearing at them, putting the phone down and saying, what do you think I am? Before you realise you've just blown £5,000.
Do you have to put in your sort of a postcode or something in order to make sure that you're near enough to... Because, what if they ring you and say, can you make this party in Glasgow tomorrow? And you go, well, how am I going to get there?
Well, it says here, the Circus app matches the demographically desirable... Okay?
Demographically desirable, yeah.
With promoters who are willing to rent a cool crowd to draw in genuine punters, okay?
Yeah.
So you might even have one or two more celebrities, and then you can sponsor your party, because if the celebrity who comes along has got a big following on social network or something like that, and that's the way the world is going to work. There's nothing to stop a middle-aged Mr. Average signing up to this, but youthful actresses and Instagram influencers are more likely to be called up. But there is nothing to stop a middle-aged Mr. Average from wanting to attract people to his party or that of his relatives.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the trouble is, and certainly I've seen this in terms of, like, kids' parties nowadays.
That's right.
There's definitely a kind of one-upmanship thing going on.
Yeah.
Right? So as the kids get older, you know, no longer is it possible to invite your kids' friends round for sort of, you know, orange squash and cocktail sausages.
That's right.
Instead, what you've got to do is go and rent somewhere, like a paintballing place, or
I
you've got to go and rent a wall climbing place, or, you know, a car driving place. Take them to Mercedes World where they can all race around a track. You know, there's parental envy going on. So I'm sure the next big thing,
parental envy,
the next big thing will be, you're quite right, if your child's going to have a 12th birthday or something, you say, let's hire, you know, this pop star so that all the other kids can go, oh, mummy, you know, we're going to this great party.
That's right.
And he's better than we are.
By the way, I thought of a new revenue stream for you.
Oh, yeah.
Because a member of my family...
I'm sure I need any more revenue streams.
No, this is a good one, honestly, so it doesn't cost you anything. Now, a member of my family has just got an F-Pace, right, which you've already got.
I have.
Jaguar F-Pace.
I've had it since November. Car of the year.
The car of the year, and I went out in it on Saturday. It's very nice indeed.
Oh, did you? Did he let you drive it?
No, I didn't want to drive it, to be honest. Well, I don't need to. You know, I'm okay. I thought
you didn't like being driven, though.
Well, I don't mind being driven. I've just got off a train. That's not a problem.
Right.
But what I was going to say to you was...
What colour is it?
It's gun barrel grey. Yours is black, I think, isn't it? Yours is gun barrel grey. Now, what I didn't realise was, did you know there is a demand for cars like that from people who run wedding car hire businesses?
Oh, really?
And you let your car go for the day.
Okay.
You see, people are fed up now with Rolls Royces. They're fed up, you know, with the limos and all that. They want something a bit different.
Cool.
Yeah, you know, younger people. So if you've got a local limo firm, you know, you can actually go and say, look, you want to rent my F-Type for £500 for a Saturday for a wedding. Yeah. That's fine. You sort out all the insurance and all that. Yeah. You get £500.
Really?
That's not bad.
Sounds like it's a bit close to the bone in terms of the law, doesn't it? I mean, you can't just rent out, because one of the, like, for example, one of the things when you rent a car, you know, from one of the big rental companies, and it says, you know, you may not hire this car out, you may not rent it in terms of you may not get involved in a race and all that kind of stuff. Aren't there rules like that around cars?
Well, it depends on the form of ownership you have of your car, I suppose, and what the lease or whatever it is, and what the clauses in that all say. I don't know, but I mean, I know it's a business because, as I say,
the difference between you and I is that I'm not constantly looking for ways to make money out of everything that I've got.
Well, you should.
You know, I'm not interested in making money every minute of the day that I'm walking around.
Well,
I'm not interested in making money out of my car when I'm not using it. I'm not interested in renting out my flat when I'm not in it. I'm not interested in, you know, selling off my children when they get old enough. You know, I'm quite happy with the amount of money I have in life. And therefore, I'm not interested
that makes you a loser.
in pushing the envelope.
That makes you a loser, mate.
Really?
Yeah, it makes you a loser because, you know, you should constantly want to improve yourself. That's the way, you know, as economies have to grow so that the country becomes better and more stable all the time, then an individual has to grow and become better and more stable all the time.
Things worrying me.
No, I'm not shrinking.
How about this from Ashley, who says, could my brother Rowan Smith get a birthday shout-out? He's 15 today and we are spending it at the beach.
Really? Which
he doesn't
beach?
say which beach.
Okay, what's his name? Rowan?
Rowan.
As in Rowan and Atkinson?
As in Rowan Atkinson, not Rowan and Atkinson.
No, Rowan.
Was that some kind of betting company?
No, I was thinking of that...
You were thinking Rowan Pelling?
No.
The editor of the Erotic Review?
No, that 70s American TV show, you know, Suck It To
Rowan
Me.
and Martin's Laughing.
Rowan and Martin's Laughing, that's the one.
Yeah, it's so ancient that nobody remembers it.
No, I don't either. Now, Rowan, 15, I want you to have a great day, my boy. You have a great life in front of you. I hope you have a smashing day. And remember, when you're on the beach, be careful of those tides. And I mean that sincerely, folks, because they can be dangerous. And talking about beaches, by the way.
The tides?
The tides.
What
and
tides?
The sea. In the sea.
Tides of March.
No. I read another tragic story over the weekend about a father who went in swimming with his little girl. And it's terrible.
I saw that one too.
He managed to hand her over to a rescue.
You know how to bring the old the mood down.
Anyway, I'll bring the mood down a bit further because talking about holidays and all that, you know, Lucifer is still on the march in Europe. No.
Lucifer. I know, what a terrible name.
Lucifer is what they've dubbed
but you know what? It's another tabloid one, this, right? Because all the people
Why are you
that
going
they're
on
claiming,
about tabloid papers today?
Because one of the things that
first
annoys
broke
me...
into, the world of Fleet Street.
No,
the world of Fleet Street.
But I had certain standards, right, when I was in Fleet Street.
You never had any standards.
I had loads of standards.
No standards in your private life.
I've got plenty of standards in my private life.
Morals of an alley cat.
Well, that's what you say, but, we all know what you've got the secrets that nobody wants to be hearing about. The point about...
I haven't got any secrets.
Oh, really? Okay, well, we'll explore that maybe the next hour.
Yeah.
Point is this, right? If you're going to be responsible as a journalist, you're not going to say that there's a giant heatwave going across Europe that's killing loads of people.
Well, it's killed 10 so far.
Well, it hasn't, actually. If you go through the list of those 10 people...
10 killed.
Many of them have been killed for different reasons.
10 killed as Lucifer roasts Southern Europe.
Yeah, well, that's a
that
headline.
That didn't come out of a tabloid.
That's a headline you're reading.
That came out of the Times, the Thunderer. That is not a tabloid.
You're reading a headline, but if you go into the actual details of the story, a couple of people have been washed away by something, which has got nothing to do with the heatwave. A couple of other people have died in other circumstances, so it's not right to say that.
OK, so here we are. Last week, 2 pensioners died in forest fires in the central region of Abruzzo.
So they died from a fire.
And near Matera in southern Italy. So they died of fire.
They died in a fire?
Yeah, you can't,
That's nothing to do with the heatwave.
You can't be more specifically killed by Lucifer, the raging forest fire.
Lucifer's not a fire.
Lucifer is a raging heat wave which is creating fire, you idiot.
No, incorrect.
If you have tinder dry land,
you're wrong.
Then all you need is some Italian peasant to be
Keep
walking
going through
by.
The list. Keep going through the list.
Flicking his cigarette onto the bracken
now
by
you're
the
getting
side.
nasty about the Italians because you know you're wrong.
No.
You know you're wrong.
By the side of the road, and all of a sudden, whoosh, you've got a forest fire.
Tell me about the others that have died.
Right, here we go.
Go down your little list.
Here we go.
You're running out of time.
Died from heat, damaged crops, and caused hundreds of wildfires in violent storms. 3 people have died, and many need treatment for sunstroke and heat exhaustion brought on by Lucifer.
Right, 3 people.
Yeah.
OK. What's the next lot? That's 5 so far.
Another person missing after a pleasure boat capsized in strong winds on Lake Garda.
Boat capsized?
Yes.
Nothing to do with the heat wave?
It is.
How?
The heat wave sends huge
makes the boat turn
hot
over.
clouds onto the Lake Garda.
What's the next one?
Of course it does.
Give us the next casualty.
A toddler and his father treated for hypothermia.
Hypothermia? Isn't that cold?
No, that was in Wales, actually.
Severe cold?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
You see what I mean? Anyway, luckily for you, we're out of time, so you can't prove yourself wrong anymore.
51-year-old man succumbed to the high temperatures in Mallorca.
Yeah, what happened to him?
Well, he sort of fainted.
This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
It's a new frontier in broadcasting. The Two Mics on Talk Radio.
We'll get you talking.
Recognise us?
Of course.
What is
Here
this
comes
again?
the Sun King.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the, in the middle is that Spanish phrase, Cuanto para mucho mi amores.
Somebody did suggest, why were you not suggesting Marta, My Dear as a much better, more appropriate song?
What for?
Marta.
Oh, I see, Marta, yeah, but actually the name in the song is Martha. And
yeah, I know that.
Yeah, I know, but the reason I didn't is because
you didn't think of it.
No, it's not. I didn't think of it. It's just that most people think that is a love song, but it's not. Martha, the subject of that song, is a dog.
What?
It's a dog. It's Paul McCartney's dog.
Really?
Yeah, honestly. Yeah,
Martha, sorry, I mentioned it now.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Yes, indeed.
Don't upset Martha because she could do some serious damage to you after the show. Let's talk to Joel Dommett instead. Not that she would. No, Joel is here, making us look incredibly old and ugly. Look, he's no young, thrusting comedian sitting here in the studio with us.
You look very healthy.
Tattoos. He looks incredibly healthy. He's doing a tour. Welcome.
Thanks very much, guys.
Yeah,
very nice to see you.
Yeah, indeed.
If any of you guys want a personal training session, just give me a shout.
Steady.
Personal training session?
Yeah.
No, we left that behind about 30 years ago, thanks.
Hey, it's never too late,
The only
Mike.
personal training we do these days is of the mind.
Training of the mind.
Yes.
Sudokus
Now, do you know Joel was in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. He came second.
Did you?
He was the runner-up
I
in
did.
I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here.
Who won it?
Scarlett Moffat. Scarlett Moffat.
A lady?
She was a
It's a
Gogglebox.
lady, yeah.
Gogglebox. You know what Gogglebox is, don't you?
Not really.
Porky is a guy who has lived many, many years, the last 10 of which he hasn't taken in nothing of modern popular culture. Just going to move this microphone down because it's in the way.
Not at all. Now, of all the things you've done, and you've done extensive things, Joel, you're on a current tour, 43 dates, right? That's great. Talk to you about that live in a minute. But one programme you've been on hit me right between the eyes, as it would if you know anything about our lifestyle. So tell me all about Drunk History.
Oh, my gosh. What a programme. Honestly, genuinely my favourite programme I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah.
All you have to do is you get told sort of what historical story you're going to tell, and then you get absolutely leathered.
Right.
And then...
What you really specifically have to then drink a load of alcohol?
Really drunk.
Right.
Like, really drunk.
How come they've not invited Parry
No,
onto the
exactly.
show?
Why haven't I been on this one?
Well, they don't tend to invite people who where drink doesn't have much of an effect because you do it in your general lifestyle.
I see.
No, but he staggers around most of the time without much of a low level of alcohol in his body.
Right. So you get completely bladdered, right?
Yeah.
And what happens next?
And then you sort of recite this historical story, and you're just very drunk, and it's very funny.
Really?
So what story did you have to do?
I've done it twice now, and the first one was someone stealing the crown jewels.
Yeah.
And then this one, the latest one, I did the bouncing bomb. The sort of
the dam busters.
Oh, I see. That's brilliant. Do you have to sign a disclaimer then?
You do.
In case
You have to go for a full medical.
I was about to say, in case the amount of alcohol you imbibe, suddenly you hit the deck.
Also, I mean, presumably there might be legal ramifications if you started slagging people off who were still alive. Who might sue you.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They just, they've covered all their backs. I went for a full. This is actually quite funny. I think I went for a medical. Yeah. And
they told you got 3 years to live.
They did. Drinking is probably not best.
Yeah.
Did you get to choose your alcohol of choice as well?
Yes, you can pick.
So what did you choose?
I decided to pick. Wrong choice. I picked champagne.
Did you?
On my final one? And
see, if I drink champagne, I never get drunk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't get drunk on champagne.
He's such a lad.
Well, I mean, unless you drink it... I mean, you've got to drink it first thing in the morning. It's the best time to drink it. Any time after midday is a bad time to drink it because the acid mixes up with the rest of your body. Yeah. But, I mean, I could sip champagne probably for a week.
Oh, really?
I'd be fine.
I would genuinely pay you £100 to do that test.
Would you?
I'd constantly drink champagne for a week.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we will see how good this radio show is.
He can drink anything for a week.
You have no idea what I've been drinking before I came on here. It's started at 1 o'clock.
He has resistance to it. I don't drink champagne because you may or may not know that I've suffered acute heart failure during my life. Only 1/3 of my heart works.
So you keep claiming.
I'd be killing myself if I drunk too much champagne.
You've still got 2/3 going, mate. Come on.
No, only 1/3 works. 2/3 is dead. So I've got to be very careful. Now, tell us...
all fat and bloated like the rest of him.
Excuse me, I'll ignore that. Tell us about your new tour anyway, because Mike and I have done a bit of live touring ourselves. It's terribly exciting.
It's quite tiring, though,
that
isn't it?
moment when the audience stop laughing sometimes is a little hard to bear. It's happened to us all, hasn't it?
It's I really enjoy those moments where you're like, is this going to be funny?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Okay, cool. We'll carry on.
That's right.
I love doing new material. It's one of my favourite things.
And are you doing it in places where there are these kind of because one of the things we found was that we tended to be preaching to the converted, which is slightly the sort of coward's way out, if you like. We were selling tickets to people who kind of know our radio show.
Yeah.
So for you, I mean, because if we were to go into, say, for example, a sort of open mic night in a comedy club, we'd get absolutely slaughtered. I'm sure people would be throwing things at us, going, who are these two old idiots? Whereas I don't know whether are you sort of preaching to people who know exactly what you do, or are you walking into a lion's den type scenario?
I call it a mixture, really. Every tour show that you do, there's always one person who likes you, and then they've brought along somebody who hasn't really heard of you before or something like that. So you're always generally trying to convert 50% of your audience.
Sure.
And if you can leave that with 100% of the people enjoying your stuff, and then they'll come back next time, that's a great thing.
Okay.
But it's a 130-date tour.
That's massive, isn't it?
It's massive. It just keeps on being expanded. So it started off with like a 30-date, and then they sold out really quick. Yeah. So I went to 50, then went to 100, and then went to 130. And I'm doing the Hammersmith Apollo a couple of times.
Wow, brilliant!
That's
great.
That is fantastically successful. And I mean, what we sometimes find is we perhaps do maybe one a month if we're if we're on the road and all that, and we get the audience together. But I can't imagine. Have you got consecutive nights on some of these dates on the tours? Tuesday in Weymouth, Wednesday in Bournemouth, Thursday, and all that.
It's a lot of travelling.
That's an incredible.
I've taken
incredible activity. Yeah,
I've taken my best friend as my tour manager.
Okay,
because I was like, I'm gonna train him up. Because you can't.
I mean, people think that it's a very glamorous way to live, but actually, it's quite tedious at times, isn't it?
Really, when you're on the tour, just the little things really please you. Like when you get into a hotel and you're like, it's got a plug by the bed.
Yeah.
I mean, that really makes your day.
Sure.
Like, yes,
you're not staying in those hotels with the pressing on the wall machine for the soap, are you?
Oh no!
Hopefully not.
No. There's those sort of
you
prison
don't want to
cell
go.
ones.
Yeah, you don't want to go there.
It's I really get to know a Premier Inn very well.
Yeah.
It's you walk in, you're like, okay, yes, this is a good one.
Right.
That's
And
right.
I mean, with 130 dates, are you how much of the new material are you able to get to? Because I mean, is your say date 100 going to be completely different from date 1, or is there still stuff that you keep?
It definitely morphs as you go along into a different show, and it sort of gets tighter and tighter and tighter, but then you don't want it to be too tight, because if it's too tight, it's boring.
Yeah.
And I think especially me, a lot of the tour, a lot of the sort of the excitement about seeing me on tour is sort of me enjoying it. The more I enjoy it, the more they enjoy it. So I just always pop little bits in that sort of just ignite
and do you have
it a
to?
little
And
bit.
do you have to stay away from drinking too much and getting too sort of worn out in some different way or other?
Yeah, I don't really drink anyway, so
Do you
that's
not?
kind
Really?
of fine.
What's
yeah.
wrong with you?
That's why he's looking so healthy.
Some sort of medical complaint, is it? Or?
2/3 of my heart don't work.
Oh,
so,
right, okay, you're very good. Do you have fans who follow you around from venue to venue?
Yeah, I've had quite a lot of people coming to see me,
Stalkers.
and then coming to see me again. Like it's I can't believe it's incredible when people are like, oh, I saw you this. I've had people like come and see me like 4 times.
Really?
Like, this is insane.
Right.
It's absolutely insane. It's wonderful. But when someone sat in the front row, like you can see them mouthing the punchlines.
Yes.
That's when I'm like, okay, mate, I'm not Bruce Springsteen.
That's
You need
really
to chill
bizarre,
out.
isn't it? Because that's when you know you don't want to lose that material, because if there are people who actually know it so well and want to hear you doing it again and again and again, you don't want to get rid of it. It's like we've often had this argument about if you're going to see a band, you don't want them just to do their new album. You want them to do the stuff that you know.
With stand-up,
but with the
it's kind of
spoken word, it's tough, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's you got to do new stuff. You got to keep turning over stuff. You got to every year I do a new show in Edinburgh, and then every 2 years I'll do a tour show, because then combining 2 years of Edinburgh shows.
Right. I'll tell you another way to make a great deal of money. Find some gullible guy in broadcasting, right, who says, we'll take your show once a week and we'll put it out at the weekends. Because that happened here, right?
That did happen here. It's a former boss.
Yeah, a former boss who handed over a great deal of money, but when he got week 2, he rang up the agent and said, I think you've sent me week 1. And the agent said, no, I haven't. He said, the only thing that changes on this tour is the audience, not the material. And they signed up for 10 weeks.
That's good.
So, yeah.
Now, we haven't got a lot of time, so we've got to ask you to dish some dirt now, because, I mean, obviously when you were in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, you were with some pretty interesting people, including Carol Vorderman,
Wayne Bridge, the footballer.
Ola Jordan, Lisa Snowden, Danny Baker, Sam Queck. I mean, you must have a couple of stories you haven't told anyone about.
I've not. I mean, I've pretty much just sort of told everybody about all of it.
Really?
That's my problem, is that I'm not very good at secrets.
Okay.
So immediately I go like, and tell everyone. My favourite thing in the world to do
Didn't
was
Carol Vorderman try and seduce you or something?
Carol Vorderman.
I mean,
Now, that's a very loaded question.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I would expect that, though. I know Carol Vorderman.
She's wonderful.
Well, I know, and Carol used to be the girlfrind of a good Fleet Street colleague of ours, you know, so I don't think that's a leading
I spent plenty of time
question.
with Carol Vorderman, and also she used to present that, what do you call it? The
Countdown?
No, but she used to do a thing. The Pride of Britain. She used to do, which we used to do every year at the Daily Mirror.
That famous thing that she did.
Yeah.
She's one of my favourite things in the world to do was whenever she's in the jungle, she would say, "Oh, I just need to go to the toilet," and I'd stand up and be like, "One from the bottom, please, Carol," and I'd laugh for about 20 minutes. It's just there's nothing funnier than that.
There isn't really.
Absolutely. What about Wayne Bridge? Because this will have been in the wake of the scandal involving him and the allegations that John Terry may have befriended his girlfriend
But
or
he'd
wife.
already broken up with her. I don't know what all that fuss was about, to be honest.
I don't know. I mean, did you get an insight on that?
I didn't really get much of an insight in it, to be honest.
No.
But because I don't think he wanted to sort of mention it in
Well, don't
a
blame him.
televised
It's great, that, isn't it?
environment.
So you don't want the only reason you're in there is for a story that put you into the news, but you don't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
that's right.
There's
Yeah.
nothing like that sort of hypocrisy, is it?
Exactly. But Wayne's one of my favourite people in the world.
Do you still keep in touch with any of these guys?
Yeah, I stay in touch with Wayne and Jordan, and I speak to Carol every now and again. But they're a really nice bunch.
Yeah.
Like Wayne is someone where I was like, I'd never really met footballers before,
Right.
and he made me go like, oh, maybe footballers can be really nice dudes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know,
I don't think it's right to paint them all as complete and utter
No,
sort of morons.
no,
That
of
couldn't
course.
be right.
But the point is, the footballers I know are now so grateful for the riches that life have given them.
Yeah.
They've become different people. They now actually believe they actually, I'm quite a lucky guy.
Yeah.
Whereas in the old days, when they were just sort of averagely more paid than most of us, they were kind of bitter and twisted about it all, Yeah. Rod Stewart once said, I wouldn't appear in front of 40,000 people for a footballer's wage. Yeah. And he's absolutely right. Now they get Rod Stewart wages, so they're quite happy.
Yeah. It's
exactly
insane.
Right. So, Joel, where's your next show?
Next show is in September.
Okay.
They've got a little break from the tour in August, and then start again. And then the bigger ones like Hammersmith Apollo is on the 15th and 16th of September.
Yeah.
And
do you want to sell some tickets, or are they all sold out already?
Those big ones are not sold out. That's
right.
the thing. All of the tours sold out so quick, so we added all these big venues.
Okay.
And they are very big.
So where are you going to get? So where are people going to go to get these tickets?
JoelDommett.com. Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
JoelDommett.com. That's my name. .com.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then you can find tickets on there. I'm all over the place. All over the place.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But they go to that. It's quite simple, isn't it? They go to that, and then they get a link, and then all they've got to do is, how do you pay for it? Is it on a credit card?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, you can use PayPal if you wish.
Use PayPal?
If you want.
So it's quite easy to go to...
Throw change in a wishing well.
Almost anyone apart from Porky Parry would be able to buy a ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
He wouldn't be able to.
No, I wouldn't know.
Anybody can do it, even if you've got, less than half of a heart.
Yes, that's right, yes.
You can do it.
Absolutely.
Indeed. Well, Joel, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you very much for joining us.
With it all, and we'll see you again.
It's a pleasure. Thanks, dudes.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Playing this rubbish.
What do you mean, this rubbish? You don't even
know
what that is.
Yeah,
it's Poldark, yeah.
I'll tell you why I know what it is, because I had the misfortune,
Yeah.
as I always do on a Sunday night, of having to watch a bit of it before I have to be thrown out of the room.
Brilliant?
No, it's awful.
Demelza,
It's
I mean,
one of
isn't
the
she the most beautiful woman on television?
No.
Oh, she is.
No.
She is.
How about this from Tom, who's tweeted
Auburn-haired beauty.
Porky is the opposite of ambidextrous and be useless.
Useless. That's a bit harsh, isn't it?
No, I mean, I've tried several times, right, because the mother of my children likes Poldark, for obvious reasons, why every woman likes Poldark, right, because she quite fancies the guy who plays Poldark and likes the idea of him taking his shirt off every 5 minutes. However, I find it tedious, awful, absolute rubbish.
Well, get out of the room and go and do something else.
Well, I end up getting thrown out of the room because I won't stop making remarks about it.
Well,
but how you can sit through it is anybody's guess.
Because he's a hero. He's a British hero. Captain Ross Poldark.
How's he a British hero?
The scourge of the French.
He's a fictional character.
It doesn't matter. He's based on true British naval heroes, of which this country was built upon. And I have to say that I am not going to reveal the content of the latest episode, which was in fact the last episode.
It for Porky Vision.
I'm saving it for Porky Vision tomorrow.
By the way, we should point
out
it's
going to be the highlight of Porky Vision.
Porky Vision isn't tomorrow because we have to discuss this because we're here all week, right?
Yes.
So we have to wake out that we have to remember the order in which we do things. Today it's Heroes and Villains.
That's right.
Tomorrow's Ask Porky.
That's right, Ask Porky.
So for those of you who've never heard the show,
this
is the place where you get the chance to ask Porky a question.
That's right.
Which can be a question of
it'll be life-changing,
general knowledge, or it can be just a bit of advice.
No, it won't be of general knowledge.
Sometimes it is.
It's people who have problems in life who want me to solve them for them.
That's right. But it can be sometimes something as simple as, what do I do about the fact that my mother-in-law wants to always come round on a Sunday lunchtime for dinner, but we don't want her to come. And how do we let her down gently? That kind of thing.
It can be a fact that, I work too hard and my girlfriend's getting fed up with me. It can be a fact that I'm in a deadbeat job and I need more money. What do I do?
Or indeed, I am a deadbeat.
What do I do?
Sure.
It could be something like, how do I attain the things you've attained in life, Porky, and where do I get my get up and go? It can be anything like that.
Right.
It can be, I want to go on holiday. I want to go on holiday with my mates, but my girlfriend doesn't want me to.
Yeah, exactly. Stag nights, all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so personal relationships, financial advice, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. However, what we need you to do is to hashtag it Ask Porky and tweet it at the Two Mics, which you can do from now.
That's right.
If you wish.
That's right.
We'll also be putting it out on our Facebook page as well. And then I thought Porky Vision is Wednesday, right? Thursday we could do listography.
Listography, yes.
And if we have enough stuff we've got quite a big package of Porky...
Postman Paul.
Postman Paul.
Flowing in.
So we may have to open some of those. And then on Friday, the Porky quiz.
That's right.
We'll have to come up with a different quiz subject, though.
Yeah, we will. Don't worry.
We will.
May I just say that when it comes to Postman Pork, could you please send all your communications, and they can be cards, they can be letters, they can be informative, might even be a little gift or something like that, which you wish to convey to moi and even MG.
Really?
And they go to TalkSport Towers. That's Postman Pork, obviously. TalkSport Towers, 18 Hatfields, which is at London SE1. 8DJ.
8DJ, very well said. Now, Joel Dommett was just here, a comedian. He's doing a massive tour. Yeah. Right, now, how about this? He was talking about appearing on Drunk History, and Jim has sent in a tweet at Talk Radio that says, if you like Drunk History, just have a listen to Porky on Talk Radio. Rambling, incoherent and inaccurate.
That is very harsh.
It is harsh.
And I'm not going to take any notice of that.
Hobbsy has sent one in saying, because we do this from time to time when we are on the radio, we ask people where they're listening, and this guy's in Marrakesh.
Oh, Marrakesh.
Listening. He sent a very nice picture of a swimming pool. There you go, look. A swimming pool and some palm trees.
That's very nice. Is that Marrakesh?
Yeah, Marrakesh.
Yeah. Which... do
you know the song Marrakesh Express?
Yeah, the Marrakesh Express was Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, wasn't it?
I think it was just Crosby, Stills and Nash.
Was it? Yeah. And it was a brilliant record. I thought it was so melodic, and it captured...
Do you know we're riding on the Marrakesh Express?
That's right. It captured a sort of summer, didn't it?
It was a bit of a druggy song, though, wasn't it?
Well, the problem was, I think it was just after the Summer of Love, so-called Summer of Love in 1967. Oh, yeah. So too far back for most of our listeners to remember, but you can read about it in the books.
Too far back for me to remember.
Yeah, too far back for me to remember. What was the name of that guy? Timothy O'Leary, was it?
Timothy Leary.
Timothy Leary.
Not O'Leary. He's the guy that runs EasyJet.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Ryanair.
No, that's Michael O'Leary, actually.
Yes, Ryanair.
Ryanair, yeah. No, Timothy Leary was the guy who famously coined the phrase, turn on, tune in and drop out. But if the whole of the population had done that in the 60s, it wouldn't be any world now, because some of us had to get on with it.
Well, a lot of people did do it.
I had a paper round in the Summer of Love, and if I'd have been a deadbeat hippie and given up my paper round, nobody would have got their newspapers, would they?
You weren't old enough.
But anyway, what I was going to say was the Marrakesh Express did in fact intone the fact that if you weren't at Haight-Ashbury in San Francisco, stoned out your face and off your brain or whatever, you were probably somewhere in Morocco or Marrakesh doing the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's apparently what it's all about.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you what I want to talk to you about.
Well, we're nearly out of time again, though.
What do you mean?
Well, we've got to stop every so often, because we've got news to fit in.
Yeah, sure,
we've got traffic reports.
Sure.
We've got the odd guest that comes in.
Now,
we just keep rambling on.
Now, as the show progresses today, have we got somebody coming in to tell us or try and defend the role of vegetarians who, according to a report, which I have accessed in one of my journals, are more miserable people than meat eaters?
Well, Heather Russell is going to be joining us. She's a dietitian at the Vegan Society, right? And I'm pretty sure she's not going to agree with that. She's going to say absolute rubbish. Actually, vegetarians are very happy people.
Yes.
Vegan people are even happier.
Yes.
Because at the moment, for example, I mean, if you go to any restaurant in London, you will see that they've really upped their act on the old vegetarian front. It used to be you'd have to get goat's cheese tart to start with and mushroom risotto, and that was pretty much all you could have. God. Whereas now, vegan food is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Vegan food is very trendy. Yeah. Vegan food is now extremely widely available in almost every restaurant that you go to, and particularly, in fact, Borough Market, where I go regularly, as you know, is full of places which are now just vegan stands.
So it should be.
Yeah,
because everybody deserves to have their choice in life.
And they don't look miserable to me.
Yes. Later in the week, it's interesting.
Hey?
That's interesting.
Have you seen the time?
Later in the week, right? There's a guy who's written a new book about Gainsborough. Now, do you know who Gainsborough was?
Gainsborough, the painter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you why I know Gainsborough.
Why?
Because there's a painting that he did, which is very well liked in my family.
Yes.
Because you know what it's called?
Yes.
The Honourable Mrs. Graham.
The Honourable Mrs. Graham.
There's
no such thing. You can't put the words Graham and honour together.
Well, Gainsborough did.
Doesn't work.
Gainsborough did. In fact, I'll show you the painting.
But anyway, the point is, this is a great new book, and guess why?
That. Why?
He was an abladeration artist.
Well, that's
fine. He was described in the book as a skirt-chasing, smutty drunk.
Really?
And that's what he was.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's great. Well, I think that's great. It's one of our greatest ever painters. Turned out to have such a bad drink problem, it sometimes took him a week to recover from a session with his mates.
Yeah.
And, of course, he couldn't paint if his hands were shaking.
Why not?
Well, because why do you think? If you're an artist and you've got a paintbrush in your hand and your hand is shaking because you've got the DTs and the shakes, you ain't going to paint a very good painting, are you?
Obviously that story's rubbish then, because he painted loads of great paintings.
Yeah, but he had to have a week after a bladderation session to recover before he could.
Yeah, well, not everybody can drink round the clock like you for 55 years.
His most famous painting was The Morning Walk.
What about the Honourable Mrs. Graham? Doesn't it mention that?
No. Mr. and Mrs. William Hallett, The Morning Walk, painted in 1785.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
He was a good guy.
The 21st century dream team of dialogue, debate and discourse. The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
This is Talk Radio. We are the Two Mics. We're here all week. It is going to be Heroes and Villains coming up a little bit later on, and that particular feature that we do requires both you and I to come up with two heroes and two villains, and we're starting from scratch.
Yes, we are.
Because the year has begun again, I guess. You might say I won hands down. You'd probably know the last season's game. So we'll see whether you can do any better. Now, I found I'm trying to just get it up because our Wi-Fi is not playing ball at the moment. I found the picture painting of the Honourable Mrs. Graham.
Right.
So I'm going to show it to you and see what you make of it.
You think I'm interested?
It's a very beautiful picture. It's in the Museum of Scotland, by the way.
Museum of Scotland. Where's that?
In Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. Yeah. I thought it would be.
Didn't you go to it while you were there at the Edinburgh Festival with me last year?
No, I had better things to do.
Like
we
what?
Were drinking till 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, we were, yeah.
Because we didn't come off stage till midnight.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Yeah,
that's still 6 hours of drinking.
Good. Quite enjoyed Edinburgh, I have to say. And went to your mate's pub where he gave me spam fritters. And haggis.
They were great, actually, weren't they?
Haggis burgers.
Did you like the spam fritters?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I liked the whole thing. I thought it was a great experience.
I don't know where else you can get those, actually.
No, but it was good.
But it was very good.
Now, Wardy says, thank God Porky. I don't know. I don't think he's Scottish.
Why would you think he was Scottish?
He's saying, thank God Porky told us how to pay online. All morning I've been trying to stuff tenors into my laptop. I think Woody's taking the mickey out of my lack of detail to attention on the electronic
it is well known,
wizardry.
It is well known that you're a bit of a technophobe. Yeah. Speaking of which, by the way, David's news there for the second time talking about Tesco's doing away with one-time use only plastic bags. Yeah. We knew this was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
We knew that this kind of ridiculous move away from plastic bags was going to end up in them trying to make more money.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now they're charging 10p for every bag that they're going to give you instead of 5.
Do you know what I feel sorry for?
Who?
Well, some bloke, probably in somewhere like Burnley or something like that, probably, when he sort of decided he was going to make himself a million. Well, this is where these sort of factories are. He probably started a plastics factory and he probably started producing millions and millions of bags for supermarkets, plastic bags, which people take their goods home in, right?
Well, yeah, but you have to put the old branding on them, though, don't you?
Yeah, put the branding on there. But then along came, the new thinking about plastic, which I'm very much in support of, by the way.
What, you mean you're trying to save the planet, are you?
Yeah, I am, definitely.
Right. So you're buying an electric car soon, are you?
No, and I'll tell you about that in a minute.
Okay.
But I have a duck conservancy, and I see the amount of plastic gets thrown into ponds and all that. So I'm very much in favour of it.
Oh, yeah.
But the poor bloke who tried to make his fortune. You remember Franny Lee? Remember Francis Lee, the footballer?
I do, yes.
He retired from football, and then he started a paper manufacturing business, paper factory.
Paper bags, that kind of thing.
He made himself a millionaire out of producing bog rolls and packets of tissues.
Do you have to use that phrase?
Well, I'm afraid that's what it's generally known as.
I'm sorry. That is not a phrase I would like to have heard on Talk Radio. It's a very upmarket radio station, right?
Toilet tissue.
Toilet tissue, fine.
Toilet tissue and
rolls. Shocking thing to say.
And boxes of tissues and the stuff you use in the kitchen.
Paper towels.
Well, not called paper towels, are they?
I call them paper towels.
No.
Some people call them kitchen rolls.
Kitchen roll, that's right, the kitchen roll and all that. So that was
paper
great.
Towels.
And then when he'd made enough money, he retired and sold the business.
What about the old Kleenex? The napkins.
Yes, yeah,
Did you make those as well?
Well, I said boxes of tissues. Okay.
I said boxes. You didn't say napkins though.
No, napkins are what you have for
serviettes
for dinner. Yeah, serviettes. No, he didn't make them. No, but anyway,
I was in a country pub yesterday, and do you know what was great? They gave us the napkins. They gave us were actually kind of tea towels.
Oh, okay,
right, big tea towels.
Very nice,
which are much better actually.
Yeah, but then again, you see, you've got to wash them, and that again has got to be flushed down into the
but that's
the
better
water
than throwing
system.
it away though.
Well, is it?
You can reuse it.
Is it? I don't know. Anyway, the point is, the poor bloke who's manufacturing all them plastic bags is probably bereft now because his business will have collapsed.
Here's the thing. I used to talk to a guy in Scotland when I was doing a show up there about plastic. He was a manufacturer of plastic bags, and he actually said it's a lot cleaner and safer and more green to transport plastic bags around the country.
That's right.
To the various places because they're compressed and you can get many more of them.
That's right.
Into a lorry. Whereas if you're taking paper bags around and passing those to people in different parts of the country, you need more space, you need more lorries.
The whole thing's ludicrous. I mean, I was reading Freddie Forsyth's column in the newspaper last Friday.
Yeah.
And
it's in the Express, isn't it?
Yes, it is, yeah. He's right on top of the ludicrous situation where we closed down coal mines, so there's no coal to fire Drax Power Station, which is one of our major supplies of electricity, because some idiot, and I think it was related to the coalition government, which David Cameron headed up, you know.
But well, he only headed it up because he had to.
Yeah, he only had to. But it was the guy who went to jail, who was the mad environmental... You know, the minister who went to jail for fiddling his points on his licence.
Oh, the car guy.
Yeah, the car guy. Yeah. And his wife went to jail as well, because they did it between them, you know. Do you remember the guy I'm talking about?
I do.
Very pompous, arrogant, self-important man who decided...
Well, he was an MP.
He was, and he was an MEP as well for many years, and that's why I got him into trouble. He came
where
back,
he met his Spanish wife?
I'm not sure. She was Greek.
Was she not Spanish?
No, she was Greek. She was a Greek economist.
Okay.
And anyway, you know, he decided, well, we can get rid of all coal and use wood. Oh, right, okay, you use wood in... how do we use this wood? Well, you make it wood pellets out of trees. Okay, where do we get the trees from? Canada. Well, yeah, but Canada's like 3,500 miles away. How do we get the trees from Canada? Well, you ship them across the Atlantic in huge container vehicles, which bring them to this country, and then we make them into pellets. I mean, the whole idea is so ridiculously... stupid because you use far more energy manufacturing wood pellets than you do digging coal out the ground.
Yes.
And the waste it produces out of the chimneys at Drax is even more damaging, according to some reports, than coal.
Yeah, well, we've had all this, haven't we? We've had these people. It's Chris Hume,
but it goes on.
Name you're thinking
Chris
of,
Hume,
by the way.
that's a guy,
and Vicky Price was his wife.
That's right.
The point is, bottom line is that we've had all sorts of dire warnings about, you know, how the planet's going to be, you know, hotter than hell.
Yeah.
I read a piece over the weekend, and you saw that I tweeted it out, that the Tampa Bay area, right, where an awful lot of British people go on holiday, is in fact now in massive, serious risk of being completely swamped by water. Because what they've decided is that, you know, there is no coastal defence at all in that particular part of Florida. And if they have an episode similar to Hurricane Katrina, which they haven't had so far, but they expect to have because they have hurricanes all the time over the summer period down in that part of the world.
Yes.
If a Hurricane Katrina-style hurricane hits Tampa, it will wipe the place out completely. I mean, talking.
Well, hang on. That's not the first time it will have happened.
Talking 15, 20 billion pounds worth of damage in an hour.
But that happened in New Orleans.
Yeah, I know that.
New Orleans was wiped out.
Yes, I know.
Yeah.
But if Tampa's wiped out, it will actually be a worse situation for an awful lot of holidaymakers, an awful lot of people who have second homes there, all sorts of stuff.
You get out, don't you, before it hits? That's the idea.
Yeah, but it doesn't help you if your house gets blown away.
Well, no, it doesn't. But I'm afraid that happens all across America. I don't know why people live in certain parts of California when almost every year raging bushfires across the Mojave Desert and all that, right? Mojave Desert,
Is that not caused by Lucifer?
Well, no, he's in Europe at the moment. Right, now there's one here from Robbie.
No time.
No, just very quick on here from Robbie. He says, so Porky calls toilet rolls bog rolls. I'm surprised he hasn't called the Kleenex tissues the snot rags.
Yeah, that's true.
Come on, do you mind? I'm a master of the English language.
I wish you were.
I don't go around using language like that.
Really?
Goodness sake.
Absolutely shocking. We've got lots more coming up. We are the Two Mics. This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Madness, they call it madness.
We are the Two Mics. If you want to have a look at the Honourable Mrs. Graham, who my ex-wife was once absolutely convinced was something to do with her.
Well, she was the Honourable Mrs. Graham.
Well, she was not particularly honourable, but she was Mrs. Graham.
She wasn't particularly honourable. That's not a nice thing to say about your ex-wife.
Well, I'm not suggesting.
Tell you what, she wasn't honourable the minute she married you. She was the dishonourable.
Well, I wouldn't say that. How about this from White? She says,
no fault of her own, I hasten to add.
Well, that's up to you. She could sue you, you know. Porky, how about a quiz on wine? Says White. Well, we are actually getting a wine taster in on Wednesday afternoon.
We are,
yeah. So we'll be having a bit of wine.
And that'll be in the last hour, will it?
It will be in the last hour because we can't risk doing it earlier on in the show in case you get too bladderated.
And also, the lady who's going to do it with us is a very good member of society, and we should take her for a drink after the show.
She's known as the Wine Bird. Well,
That's
we can't
right.
take her for a drink after the show. You can, because that's my birthday.
Oh, of course,
so I'll be leaving.
You're pushing off on your family,
to go. What do you mean pushing off with my family? No, I'm going with my family for a birthday dinner.
Your family will be disappointed that you haven't invited me along.
They're not, actually.
And by the way, looking at the reaction from our audience and the millions out there who follow us, they're shocked. that you just suddenly cast me aside just because you're going off on a bit of a birthday binge.
Why would I want to hang around with you outside of work? Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't want to hang around with you at all, really. But I mean, by force of nature, we have to spend some time in the studio together. Right. But you're basically, in my view, lifestyle of an alley cat and a bit of a bum. Yeah. So I'm missing nothing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, listen, we've got many more important people to talk to. So just instead of bickering with me over nothing, just because you've been disinvited from something that we want to do, we need to speak to Professor Andreas Kyprianou, who is Professor of Probability Theory at the University of Bath, right? But we're going to talk to him in a second, right? He is a guy who has done a study in which he has discovered that there is only a 1 in 562 chance of you meeting the one.
I know, that's amazing, that.
You've never met the one, have you? You've never been in love, have you? You've said that before to me.
No, I have. Early on in my life, as a teenager, I was. But the thing is, I made the most sensible decision of all. Yeah. I thought, well, I'm not going to compromise now. Yeah. My 1 in 562 chance didn't come along. Right. So I'm not going to compromise and say, well, OK, this is 2/3 the one, or this is half the one, or 3/4 of the one. Right. I had to meet the one, and I didn't meet the one, so I didn't bother.
Well, let's talk to the professor and see what he's got to say about it. Professor Kyprianou, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. Now, 1 in 562 chance, what is that comparable to? It's nothing like winning the lottery or getting struck by lightning.
Or being hit by a bus.
Well, some people might say it's quite low odds, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's actually considerably better than winning the lottery, that's for sure. Yeah. And it's a lot better than the chance of being involved in a plane crash, for example.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's still reasonably. I mean, it's not a likely event. I mean, on the other hand, it shows that your odds are a lot better than hopeless.
Right. I mean, is there any way? I mean, it's maybe a difficult question for you to answer, but is there something you can compare it to in terms of odds of something happening?
Oh, 100 and 500 odds. Okay, so I guess that could be similar to me going for a job interview and perhaps getting the job when you know there's quite a sizable number of candidates.
Yeah, I suppose you're absolutely right. What I think is fascinating about your study, Prof, is that your chances when you're a teenager, which I've just spoken about, are as long as 1 in 1,024. But if I wait a little bit longer and get up to the age of 74, not that I think I'll ever make it there, to be honest.
You won't, no.
The chances are as low as 1 in 304. So does this mean that some people will just wish that, wish their lives away, roaming the earth, trying to find that one person in
roaming the earth.
Yeah, literally, trying to find that one person in 562.
Yeah. So this is a classic case of interpreting statistics, of course. So these figures are giving you an average of what's possible, and that's taken over a large cross-section of society. Yeah. So it doesn't mean that an individual will necessarily be exposed to precisely these chances, but it means an average person in society will. But the reason why it's more likely when you're older is because essentially you've got a better ability to judge what you like, how to connect with people. You're more out and about in more constructive situations as far as finding love is concerned.
Yeah, I see. That's pretty fascinating.
What the odds I'd like to know are what happens when you think you've met the one, but it turns out actually that she or he is not the one at all, and it's all kind of worn away. Because I would imagine the odds for that happening are a lot shorter.
Very good question. So that's a follow-up piece of research, isn't it? What are the odds of staying together, given that you've coupled up?
Well, I mean, given that divorce happens to 1 in 2 couples, I suppose you'd have to say that there's a 1 in 2 chance that when you found the one, it'll soon turn out to be a bum deal.
Yes, again.
Now, Prof, there's a very interesting paragraph.
Professor, I think you prefer.
Sorry?
Professor.
No, Prof, you don't mind me calling you Prof, do you?
You call me what you like.
Thank you very much indeed, yeah. Now, there's a very interesting paragraph in this report, which I studied at length, and that is that you say, if you think further afield, it also helps. If you're prepared to look beyond a 10-mile radius of your home, your odds increase by 13% for each mile. Now, this...
10-mile radius of your house?
I know.
What, are you out there like Jack the Ripper?
Well, no, bearing in mind that Mr. Graham and I have spent half our life working in America and the rest of it circling the globe, this gives me the impression that there are still within England a group of village idiots who never get much further than the place they were born if they've only gone 10 miles down the road. Now, is this a phenomenon that we have so far been unaware of?
Well, obviously, I can't comment on people living in villages in the UK.
Yeah.
However, it is, in some sense, it's a rather obvious statement. The more inclusive you are in your search, the more, the better you improve your chances. Now, actually, I met my wife. You wouldn't believe this, but I met my wife in the post office, the chief post office in Ulaanbaatar in Outer Mongolia.
In Ulaanbaatar?
That's brilliant. That's fantastic.
So I had a pretty wide search.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And how did you know she was the one?
Probably
was she the only one there?
No, she was the only one there who didn't have a yak tied up outside.
Yeah, well, we got married a couple of years later, so it's been a while.
Yeah.
There are those, of course, in life who go
Did she invite you back to her yurt, by the way?
Say again, sorry?
Did she invite you back to her yurt?
Not immediately, no, she did.
I don't know why you're being so objectionable. It doesn't say whether she was from Ulaanbaatar or not. Where was she from, Professor?
She was from Ulaanbaatar.
Oh, right. Well, there you go.
Oh, there you go.
So people live in yurts in Ulaanbaatar.
They do, some of them, yeah. But, some people travel all the way around the world and then find out that they meet somebody who's from their same town or something like that,
That's right, that's right. So again, this comes back to the notion of averages versus what actually happens to you as an individual. So these statements, as people say, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics. What that pertains to is the fact that when we're given these statistics, we must always think that we're averaging over what could happen to you, what could happen to a guy in the village, what could happen to a guy who goes travelling out in the Far East.
Yeah. Prof, did you, within all this research, which is very extensive, did you come to a figure like this? So somebody's, looking for the one, the chances are 1 in 502. How many years, on average, would a single woman or a single man hold out to try and find the one before they then decide it's not going to happen, therefore I've got to compromise for somebody less than the one?
Well, so that's actually a very good question. And in fact, the model doesn't take that into account. And this is one of the many things where, in fact, you could argue that this is a first piece of research, and the kind of questions you're asking there could be pushed further into the model. And it's pretty much like, for example, the stock market. So we get all sorts of information about, investing over the long term, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And then you start asking the kind of questions you're asking. What would happen if I diversified my portfolio? Not that I'm suggesting that we should be doing that when we search for love.
Yeah.
I think what you're asking is perhaps the next step of research,
right,
is to look at something a bit more involved.
That's right. And the other thing, sorry to interrupt this, I've got nieces and nephews and all that.
What do you mean, sorry for interrupting?
Yeah, I thought you were about to say something.
I was about to ask a question. I'll make a statement, actually.
All I was going to say is that so many young people now don't, trail around discos anymore like we did in our day and all that kind of stuff.
I never trail around discos.
They actually go onto websites and they instantly find a potential suitor.
That's right. So in fact, that's what motivated this research. It was actually eHarmony, the dating website, who commissioned this research. And in fact, that's precisely the reason that they did it. There is a growing phenomenon that young people are very much plugged in online and they're not meeting each other face to face. And in fact, there's a rather sad thought.
Well, they're just swiping left or right, aren't they? They're not actually necessarily meeting each other.
That's right. But there is a growing sense of loneliness amongst young people because of this lack of connect, this lack of kind of face-to-face connect, and this online kind of existence that a lot of people lead these days.
No, I'm sure that's true.
You're at the University of Bath now, Professor Cipriani. Do you know where I met my first wife?
Where did you meet your first wife?
At the University of Bath.
There you go.
He was a student there. I mean, he didn't complete his course. He got thrown out.
No, I didn't get thrown out. I chose to leave after 2 years.
Yeah, he got thrown out.
No, I chose to leave. She was a visiting American student from abroad. Do they still have that programme there?
Yes, we still have lots of visiting students.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, it didn't work out there in the end.
No, it didn't.
So I had to go looking for the next one as opposed to the one.
She now hates Britain for obvious reasons.
Doesn't actually. That's not true. That's not true. How is the University of Bath, though?
You're welcome to come and visit me at the University of Bath and give it another shot if you like.
Yes. Well, I must. We may come down and do a show down in Bath, actually, because I always wanted to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Mole's Cafe still in Bath?
Oh, that doesn't sound familiar. Moles. Oh, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
At the top of the top of the street there.
That's right, top of Milsom on George.
Top of Milsom Street, yeah.
So, sorry, Prof, to interrupt your Bath loving, but I'm trying.
Bath is a very beautiful city, right?
I'm trying to do some.
You've probably never been there. What I can tell you also about Bath, right, is that the wedding ring that I bought to my wife is been thrown into the Avon there. After we split up, she drove specially to Bath, where we had met, to throw the wedding ring into the river.
Yeah, still there.
So if you want to go look for it, you might make some money.
That's right. Now, Prof, I just want to run through where you're most likely to find the one. This is from your research. Joining a dating website right at the top, 17%. Socialising with colleagues and their friends, 16%. Now, the one that I don't get is the third most popular, chatting at the gym. I mean, is the gym really used that popularly by young people these days?
I don't use the gym, that's for sure.
Exactly.
But I think a lot of young people are becoming very health conscious, and that's probably why that statistic has come up in third position.
Yeah.
I think a lot of young people are very health conscious. I mean, if I think about how my children are educated at school now about looking after their bodies, looking after the way they eat, I think probably young people do spend more time at the gym, is my guess, and that's probably why it's appeared there in third position.
Well, I mean, we had a guest just in the early part of the hour, Joel Dommett, comedian, who's doing a big tour. I mean, looking very fit, looking very healthy.
Very healthy.
He's probably a guy that spends, I mean, when we were on the road doing all those shows, we were sort of falling into bars and, go to bed late and all that, and he looks like a guy who just works out all the time. And you're right, people meet, the gym is now very much part of everyday life for most people, Professor, isn't it?
Oh, I would say so, yes. I mean, I'm actually here. You're calling me in Mexico City, actually, and I'm here with a bunch of colleagues at a conference.
Oh, brilliant.
And of course...
Yeah, so you know how to live, you guys, you academics, don't you?
Yeah.
A nice trip to Mexico City.
Yeah.
The first thing my colleagues have done, they all went running this morning. I didn't, of course.
Well, it's a bit dangerous to run in Mexico City. They've got terrible pollution there, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. And I tell you what, the first thing we would have done in our day, Prof, is we'd have taken option...
a tequila bar.
Well, exactly. We'd have taken option number 5, where 9% of people meet at clubs or bars. That was our traditional route to meet members of the opposite sex in our day. And in fact, almost exclusively. That's the only place you did meet people in those days.
That's the only place you ever went.
Well, that's true, yeah. I did spend a lot of my time in pubs and bars and clubs. You're absolutely right. But what a fascinating survey. How the world has changed.
That is indeed one of the big surprises, though, that it's pushed right down there in 5th position as the 5th place in terms of meeting people.
Only 1 in 10?
Yeah, you're right. It does reflect, I think, modern society. It does reflect how we interact with each other.
It honestly does. Only 1 in 10 people meet now by glancing across the bar to the other side and thinking, wow, eye contact.
Yeah, well, calm down. It's not that surprising. Professor Andreas Cipriano over in Mexico City, thank you so much for joining us, Professor, and good luck with the one from Ulaanbaatar.
Exactly.
Amazing story, that. Imagine going to the post office Ulaanbaatar.
Meeting your wife. Your future wife.
Incredible.
Brilliant.
This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
This is Talk Radio. We are the Two Mics. He's Mike Parry. I'm Mike Graham. Coming up, we're going to speak to Heather Russell, who is a dietitian at the Vegan Society, who's going to tell us probably, I imagine, why she doesn't agree with this study that's come out which says vegetarians are more miserable than meat eaters. And also coming up a little bit later on, we've got heroes and villains. That's where we pit ourselves against each other. We come up with 2 heroes and 2 villains from the weekend, and the judge is going to be the producer of the show, who's going to tell us precisely. What are you doing, by the way?
Sorry?
What are you doing?
I'm just working out a formula.
You're holding your phone like some kind of a spirit level?
Well, you sent me the Honourable Mrs. Graham.
Well, I didn't send it to you. I put it out on Twitter.
OK, well, I am just going to respond to that by putting out Gainsborough's most famous painting, which is Mr. and Mrs. William Hallett, The Morning Walk.
Who's William Hallett?
Well, I don't know. He must be a friend of his or something like that.
He may have been an historical figure. I thought you would have known
probably. But the problem is I can't get the shadow right to reproduce the...
Would you want me to hold it up for you like that?
That's a good idea, yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, this
is why they used to pay me the big bucks in Fleet Street.
Yeah,
that's come up with design alternatives for you.
Right, OK.
How's that look?
OK.
Hurry up, get on with it.
Let me just do this.
You can't talk and use the phone at the same time. Have you done it?
That's done.
There you go.
That's on its way.
Gainsborough was last hour.
It doesn't matter. But the guy who wrote this book about Gainsborough, revealing him as a bit of a bladderator and a man who chased skirt, in the words of the book, that's not my words, it's the words of the author, will be joining us later in the week.
Oh, I see. Mr. Swaggart says this for the Porky quiz at the weekend, on Friday. How about this? For every wrong answer, Porky drinks a glass of water. Why would that be? Why would that be of any interest to anyone if you drank a glass of water?
I don't know, but I mean,
I can see why they would say for every wrong answer you take a shot of tequila.
Or something like that.
Which might be more amusing.
I don't know. Water's good for you, of course. Everybody should do it. Rinses out the old kidneys.
Well, I've been drinking water all my life.
Yes, that's true. You do drink
years, and you've been telling me,
water,
and you used to make fun of me for saying, "Why do you drink so much water during a show?"
Yes,
I believe very firmly if I didn't drink as much water as I do, I'd actually be dead.
Well, you have drunk copious amounts of alcohol during the course of your life, and I'm not having a go at you there. I mean, just that you have. Because you still...
Well, when you say copious amounts, it's a bit unfair. I mean,
it's not really. You could go home at a weekend and drink and
I've been drinking alcohol since I was about 14, right?
Yeah, and me.
But copious amounts I think would be wrong.
No.
I think that would be
copious amounts. I mean, you still at your age, and this is a very, very dangerous social practice, and I would advise everybody else to do it, would quite happily polish off a couple of bottles of wine of an evening on a Friday if you didn't have any particular responsibilities the next day, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
Yes, or maybe three.
Yeah,
maybe
there are also plenty of occasions where I don't drink at all. For example, yesterday I didn't drink because I had to drive back up to London. Well, actually, I had a couple of pints at lunchtime.
Yeah, exactly.
But then later I was driving up to London.
So you temper all this about, I don't have anything to drink. Oh, only a couple of pints. Anybody who thinks a couple of pints is like not a drink has got a real problem.
It's quite often that, certainly when I'm in London, that I wouldn't have a drink at all for 3 or 4 days. You know?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
you're not listening to me, are you?
Yes, I am. No, but I believe that when I see it. I was just talking to my Gainsborough painting.
Have you managed to send out a tweet yet?
It will be.
You haven't done it yet, have you?
It will be. Don't worry.
Okay.
Right, now then, what I was going to talk to you about was, when's our vegetarian guest coming on? Because I'm sure
she'll be coming up next in about 10 minutes.
That's
or
good.
Slightly less than
now,
that.
what I'd like to talk to you about is you mentioned earlier in the show when you're getting your electric car, okay?
Yeah, when are you getting your electric car?
Well, I'm just going to show you this now, okay? Because you have no conscience at all.
No
in a
conscience.
Squalid Congolese cobalt mine, the awful human cost.
This is more tabloid nonsense you're
The
going to
awful human cost of producing batteries for electric cars, okay? And the clean energy crusade results in children as young as 4 years old working in mines, 8 years old, 11 years old, digging out cobalt from the earth to send it to the West so that Ponce's...
I beg your pardon?
Ponce's... So that people like you, okay... I withdraw that
I think
previous
you should. That's not a word
allegation
you'd say.
about you.
Yeah.
But people like you, right, can, make themselves feel good about how they live clean lives and all that by driving around in electric cars. I've told you before.
No, I can tell you precisely what's going on here, right?
Yep.
The whole idea that somehow some newspaper has discovered that basically the idea of electric cars is a bad idea because they belong to the same flat earth society that you do, have decided to go out there and look for something horrible going on in a country which is a developing country where they exploit children, which happens all over the world, by the way, in mines of all different types. How do you think they get batteries for mobile phones? Where do you think they come from?
Yeah, well,
Where do you think they come from?
The cobalt...
Where do you think the batteries for phones come from?
No, you've got to understand this, that if we turn all cars electric, first of all, the world will close down because there isn't enough electricity in the world.
You're not changing the subject, are you?
I'm developing your subject.
No, you're not.
The cobalt that you need for a battery in a car to make a car run is very different to that needed in a mobile phone.
Let me show you this.
And, of course, a much...
Let me show you this. Why don't you read that headline out?
Yes.
What does it say?
It says, meet Dawson 8 who mines cobalt.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, read the whole thing, please.
No, I can't read the whole thing.
All right. The whole thing says, the whole headline. The whole headline.
No.
You don't want to read the whole headline. All right, I'll read the whole headline.
Yep.
Meet Dawson, 8 years old, who mines cobalt to make your smartphone work. So they're mining cobalt for a great number of things, right? Including electric car batteries, but also including smartphones. Now, I assume that if you were to do your research properly, you would have said, well, the thing about this is that actually they're making a political statement here, this particular newspaper, because they are against Michael Gove and his plans to actually try and bring electric cars.
I'm not getting into the politics of it.
Well, you need to get into the politics. You cannot operate in a vacuum. You cannot come out with statements which are basically hugely and unusually biased.
Yes.
A Sky News investigation has found children as young as 4 working in Congolese mines where cobalt is extracted for smartphones.
Yes.
Right? The mineral is an essential component of batteries for smartphones and laptops, making billions for multinationals such as Apple and Samsung. So, why don't we have a bit of that as well? A little bit of balance would be good, because we on Talk Radio like to be completely and utterly fair and absolutely open and honest with everybody.
You see, your argument is so fatuous.
No,
You're saying, well, they're already digging out cobalt, but they're going to be digging out an awful lot more cobalt, need an awful lot more little children to go down tiny mines that collapse on their head.
How long have we been using smartphones and laptops?
Not very long.
Not very long?
Not very long.
When did you get your first smartphone?
Excuse me, not very long in terms of how long the Earth has been around, okay?
I see, right.
I would say less than 0.1% of the time that man has been on the Earth.
How long since Gainsborough painted a painting?
Gainsborough, 1785.
There
but anyway, look, all I'm saying is...
you've once again been slapped down, you've lost the argument,
slapped down
and this is why you're getting so upset.
Well, you nutters who think that, every car will be electric by 2040.
They will be.
Well, yeah, if we build 10 new nuclear power stations between now and then.
No,
there is not enough power on Earth.
You keep saying this like some kind of flat earther. I've told you before they will find better ways of doing it. Did you not see the story over the weekend?
One?
Well, over the weekend it was revealed that in fact there's a Japanese company who's working on electrifying the road, so that as you drive on the road, you actually charge the car. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's cool. When's that coming into effect?
Well, they're working on it. It will come into effect in time. It will come into effect. Yeah, but you see, look at you.
Yeah.
Do you not realise how ridiculous you sound?
They're working on...
Oh, you mean one day we'll have a phone, which means you can take pictures and surf the internet.
They're working on
ridiculous.
Turning water into petrol. They've been working on that for 100 years, okay? They still haven't got there. And they won't get there with your electric roads.
You sound, unfortunately, you can call me an oaf if you wish, but everybody who's listening to this will understand that technology moves at a rate far quicker than your development. In fact, you're going backwards. You are the man who will stand, as I told you before many times, as Christopher Columbus set off to discover the new world, that in fact, the Earth is flat. Don't go there.
No.
You'll fall off the end of the world.
No, you see, all you can do is hurl insults when
I'm not hurling insults.
You
haven't got me at all.
You know there'll never be a whole world full of electric cars.
I've already ordered my new Tesla.
Well, you can have your new Tesla, mate.
It's going to be brilliant.
And who's going to put these million poles in the streets of every major city in Britain that you can just plug your car into?
There's not that many Poles living here anymore.
Yeah,
they all moved back to Poland.
Yeah, you see, you've got to ridicule things that you know you're beaten on.
No, I haven't. I don't think I've lost this one. This is Talk Radio. Coming up, we're going to talk some more. Go on.
Got the brain of a shrimp, you have.
Yeah, still bigger than yours. This is Talk Radio.
The 21st century dream team of dialogue, debate and discourse. The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
This is Talk Radio. We are the Two Mics. He's Mike Parry, I'm Mike Graham. Neither one of us is, in fact, a vegetarian. However, there has been a study done at Bristol University, 10,000 men in the southwest of England, and they found that if they gave up meat, chicken, beef, whatever you want to call it, and became vegetarians, they were more likely to be miserable than people who actually did eat meat. I'm not sure this can be completely and utterly accurate, but in order to find out whether it is based on anything real, let's talk to Heather Russell, who's a dietitian at the Vegan Society, and he's bound to, I would have thought, a different view on this. Heather, very good afternoon to you.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much indeed. Now, this seems to me to be the kind of study that's done by people who wish to make a point before they've done the study, so that when the study comes back in, they can say, oh, look, told you so. All these guys are looking terribly, terribly depressed and unhappy because they've no longer got meat to eat. Are you putting any faith in it?
Certainly, when you actually look at the study, you can pull out some interesting points. For instance, the people in the study called themselves vegetarian, but they actually found that a lot of them were eating fish and meat. So they're not necessarily what you might call a true vegetarian, and certainly eating very different diets to people who are vegan, who avoid animal products completely. And the other thing is the type of study as well. So this is a study that suggests there's a link between vegetarian diets and depression, but it doesn't answer the question, does a vegetarian diet increase the risk of depression? And here at the Vegan Society, we've just renewed our alliance with the British Dietetic Association, who recognise that well-planned vegan diets can support healthy living in people of all ages. So that's what we're seeking to reassure people, that you can get all the nutrients that you need without animal products.
Sure. Heather, do you think there's a misinterpretation in this study that we've just put to you? I mean, could it mean that vegetarians actually are more serious about their lives and think more about their health and their welfare, and that people who eat meat, who might be, roast around sort of people who like a few beers and getting down the pub with a Sunday roast or something like that, are not as responsible as vegetarians because perhaps they don't pay as much attention to their self-worth and self-being?
What do you mean, that maybe vegetarians worry more about the planet and that kind of thing?
Well, yeah, exactly. That might be interpreted as being perhaps, not as happy people as those who don't care about these issues.
I mean, certainly I think I'd welcome more evidence in this area, because this is the first study that showed this link.
Yeah.
And when you think about the reasons why people go vegan, they're doing it to help animals, to help the environment. So, they're committing to a lifestyle that's a really positive choice. So, that they're really thinking carefully about what they're eating, and often, thinking carefully about their nutrition as well. And if anyone's got any questions about vegan nutrition, you can go to vegansociety.com/nutrition, and we've got loads of resources.
Well, it's good interesting you say that, yeah, because the report says that other sort of potential factors which might contribute to the mood of somebody or other who is either eating meat or not is that, there's high levels of certain things in the blood, which if you have a diet rich in vegetables, you may not get into your body. You know what I mean?
Is that like B12?
Well, lower intakes of seafood, for example, are thought to be associated with a greater risk of depressive symptoms. They're talking about phytoestrogens, I think, which you may know more about than I do. But there's different things, like a veggie diet will lead to a lower intake of vitamin B12, greater consumption of nuts rich in omega-6 fatty acids, that kind of thing. I mean, my father, who was not particularly enlightened in these areas, I'd have to say, used to say that if you were a vegetarian, you used to have to eat your weight in beans in order to get the protein you'd get from a steak.
It's actually quite easy to get enough protein if you're eating the right plant foods. So even UK healthy eating guidelines recommend that people eat more beans and pulses. So, instead of having a chicken curry, you can have a chickpea curry, and that's a good source of fibre, vitamins and minerals and protein, and also counts as one of your 5 a day as well. And it's easy to get enough vitamin B12 if you're vegan. You just need to make sure that you're eating fortified foods or using a supplement.
Heather, do you think there needs to be this sort of constant sort of battle between vegetarians and meat eaters? Shouldn't we say live and let live? And, am I wrong in thinking that vegetarians...
It's not going to help the cows much, is it?
Well, hang on. That vegetarians are... usually on a campaign to try and encourage more and more people to become vegetarian, whereas meat eaters don't seem to respond by saying, oh, no, we'd like to invite more and more people back from vegetarianism to become meat eaters again. I mean, shouldn't we all just accept each other's role in life and just, c'est la vie?
I mean, certainly I don't see it as a battle. I used to eat meat up until a couple of years ago and then went vegan. And, I wish that I'd known more about veganism earlier on. And that's what we're hoping to do as a vegan society, raise awareness of why people go vegan and support vegans. Because there are a lot of people out there who don't know a lot about the reasons why people choose to avoid the use of animals. So
I mean, being vegan also now... Heather, I don't know what your reasons were. If you wish to tell us, you'd be more than welcome to. But a lot of people now become vegan because it's kind of trendy. In the past, it was, say, for example, there was always certain numbers of people who were vegetarians, and everybody kind of looked at them and went, well, they're the vegetarians. They're all a bit odd.
Yes.
Whereas now, you go to a lot of, what you might regard as very trendy restaurants in London or very sort of, high-end, hangouts for sort of, reasonably well-off young people, and they're all vegan.
So I think sometimes veganism gets confused with things like fad diets. But if you look at the people who take our 30-day vegan pledge, most of them are doing it for, in order to help animals, and a lot of people are interested in the environmental benefits as well. So, it's a commitment to making a positive lifestyle choice, not just, for personal reasons, but to help.
But can you tell us why, for example, you decided to go vegan, Heather?
Yeah, so I think it was probably 50-50 to help animals and the environment. Read a really good book about eating animals, and it just opened my eyes to a lot of the issues. And, as a dietitian, I know that vegan diets can give people all the nutrition that they need if they're well planned. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to give this a go, and yeah, no regrets at all.
Okay, veganism and vegetarianism is a huge commercial issue now, isn't it? You know, as people get more and more into it. I remember once being in South Africa, and I was with a colleague who asked for a vegetarian meal in a restaurant. South Africa in those days, maybe 20 years ago, had never heard of vegetarianism, and they just served him a plate of carrots. And he was so insulted, he got up and walked out. But, I mean, you know, vegetarian food these days doesn't need to taste vegetarian, if you know what I mean, does it?
I think often the food speaks for itself. People often try, a totally plant-based dish, not realising that it's vegan, and then they really enjoy it, and they're surprised to realise that it's vegan.
Yeah.
So I think, it's never been easier to eat a vegan diet. There's lots of options when you're eating out. And, I think it's important to be open-minded and give it a go, and
sure.
And let, as I said, let the food speak for itself.
Yeah.
I think there's no doubt at all that many people now eat less red meat than they used to.
Well, I could eat a mushroom risotto quite easily. Is that vegetarian?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do a nice vegan mushroom risotto.
Yeah.
That's risotto.
What do you do? I mean, I must ask you this because now that I've got the opportunity to ask you, Heather. I mean, as a vegan, you can't eat any dairy products, so you can't eat cheese. I mean, cheese surely is one of the great staples of life in this country. What do you do when you want to pass around the equivalent of the cheese board at the end of the meal?
Well, certainly I thought that I might miss cheese before I went vegan, but actually I get on fine, and occasionally I have a vegan alternative to cheese, and there are quite a few different options now. They all taste a bit different. So, generally for most foods there's now a vegan alternative, and I think, going vegan gives you a new appreciation for your foods, so you start experimenting with different dishes that don't necessarily need to have cheese involved, and it's a bit of a food adventure, really.
Sure. And do you feel better having, given up all the things that you have given up? Do you genuinely feel, healthier?
Personally, I just feel as healthy as I did before I went vegan. I know my partner, for instance, feels better now that he eats a totally plant-based diet, and everyone's experience is a bit different, but I think it's important to sort of underline that, you should feel good on a vegan diet, and if you've got any concerns at all, then, it's really important to have a look at what you're eating and make sure that it's balanced. If you need any help, then hopefully, you can go to your doctor and ask to see a dietitian, and they can give you a bit more guidance to make sure that you're ticking all your boxes nutritionally.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Well, Heather, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Heather.
Heather Russell, dietitian at the Vegan Society. I mean, a friend of mine actually has gone, because he's writing an article about it, he's gone vegan for the month. Right.
Oh, yeah, for 1 month?
Yeah, for 1 month, because he's needing to, it's one of those newspaper articles where you go, this is what I felt like on day one. It's like that. Did you ever see that Super Size Me show? The film.
It's the guy who ate nothing but McDonald's hamburgers.
Yeah, and then nothing but the super-sized version.
Liver problems.
Well, he had liver problems. His liver practically turned into pate.
Yeah, but the point is, if you eat the same food every day, that'll happen whatever you eat, not just McDonald's hamburgers.
Well, yeah, but
you have a McDonald's hamburgers once or twice a week. That ain't going to damage you.
No, but it's the amount of unsaturated fat that does the damage. Yeah. And if you have a vegan diet, then you're not going to be eating much unsaturated fat, are you?
Right, yeah, okay.
Chris says it's good to hear you two gents on Talk Radio in the afternoon talking your usual load of common sense.
Yes, thank you very much.
Keep up the good work. Really?
I thought when I heard you say talking your usual load of, I thought it was going to be cobblers.
Cobleros, yeah. Simon says if vegans are miserable, I wouldn't want to go to Forest Green Rovers. Isn't that the team that's got the wooden stadium? And the vegan boss and everything everything that they do in the football world is sustainable and all that
to save the earth, basically. Yeah. Yeah.
There's
nothing wrong with saving the earth.
There is nothing wrong with saving the earth, but sometimes I think everything has to be taken in what do you call it? Proportion.
Yes, proportion.
I mean, you heard there Heather saying, you can quite happily make a curry with chickpeas, as you can with chicken.
Yeah, I don't like
chickpeas
though.
Do you know what I made at the weekend?
What did you make?
A curry with chicken and chickpeas.
Really?
How about that?
Yeah.
So there's double
chickpeas is like a
portions.
paste, isn't it?
No, chickpeas. No, chickpeas.
What's the other thing they call it?
Well,
hummus.
You mean
hummus?
Well, you use chickpeas to make hummus.
That's what I mean. Hummus paste. I can't stand it.
It's not hummus paste. It's
somebody
just hummus.
gave it me on an aeroplane once. I was ill. Because I don't know, I just didn't
You're
know
probably
what it
ill
was.
because of the large quantities of Pinot Grigio that you've been shoving down your throat. Have
Well,
you
that might
worked
have had
out, by
something
the
to
way,
do with
how
it.
we're going to manage to actually sustain ourselves and to sort of pace ourselves on the flight to New York when we go there for the show in the winery?
Well, I won't be drinking anything on the way out.
What?
Well, just a bit.
We're going business class.
Yeah,
Have you
that's
gone
true.
mad?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we're going to be in a business class lounge.
But,
we're then going to be a business class plane for 7 hours.
That's right, yeah.
What are you going to do?
But I'm rather looking forward to, because we're there for 5 days, we do the show, and then we've got to make a video.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about what we do.
No, I'm talking about how much
plane.
I'm going to enjoy the plane coming back. Because then there's no restrictions.
Yes, well, that's true. Although you might have to do some shows here when you get back.
Well, that won't be for a day or two, I'm sure.
We should say, by the way, we've got a few other announcements to make via the New York show.
Yes.
If you want to look for tickets for it, you can go on the City Winery website.
Yes.
Or you can just go on our website, the2mics.co.uk.
That's right.
And find them there.
Or follow one of our many tweets on both our Twitter accounts, in which we're constantly putting out new pictures of ourselves.
Indeed.
Which look brilliant.
Indeed.
Yes.
But now, though...
Me and my Peaky Blinders cap.
Yeah, all right, calm down.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Now, for those of you who don't know the show, we are, of course, the Two Mics. That is one of the many things that we do on this show, and it's called Heroes and Villains. We have wiped the slate clean, right? We've had last season, as we call it. We've now got a new season, and, of course, Cornelius behind the glass. And you may involve Marta as well, I don't know. After what you said about her, it may not be possible to involve Marta because her decision-making may be tainted by some of the stuff that you've come out with. However, they will judge whether our heroes and our villains are better. Yours are better than mine, or mine are better than yours.
Yes.
Now, are you ready? Are you prepared to unleash upon the great British public here on Talk Radio who your heroes and who your villains are?
Yes, I am.
Well, would you like to start?
I'll start then, OK?
Well, you go ahead.
I'll start with my first hero, OK?
Yeah, go on.
And in fact, it's a heroine.
Is it?
And it is Jessica Ennis-Hill, who this weekend received the heptathlon gold in London that she was denied by a Russian drugs cheat at the 2011 World Championships. Last time the World Championships were held, and I am so delighted to say, sorry, last but one, and I'm so delighted that she has now received justice, and the roar that went around the stadium when she received the long overdue gold medal was in complete contrast to the man who beat Usain Bolt, Justin Catlin, to a cacophony of boos, and that to me sums up the best and the worst of the athletics profession.
Well, it's not called the best and the worst.
No, but it's Jessica Ennis-Hill. Jessica Ennis-Hill.
Well, I'm going to go the other way.
The contrast was so stark.
Well, I'm going to go the other way because I'm going to go with athletics in general as the villain. Right? I'll tell you why. Because Jessica Ennis-Hill has to wait 7 years to be given the gold medal, which she should have been given rightfully many, many years ago.
8 years.
We got Justin Gatlin. Was it 8?
8.
Oh, I thought it was only 7.
2011 to 2017.
Hey, that's only 6, isn't it?
17. That's 6. 6, yeah. So it wasn't 7, it wasn't 8, it was 6. Right, come on, let's get on with it.
All right, I'm glad you've researched this one properly. Justin Gatlin wins against Usain Bolt. Everybody boos him. This is a guy who's been banned from racing twice, right?
Yeah.
Once for 8 years, which should have been a lifetime ban.
Yes.
Seb Coe, by the way, I don't know what he's doing with his hair, but I think he needs to worry about that. He needs to change it.
Yeah.
But this is a ludicrous and ridiculous state of affairs.
Yes.
We've got people who have been banned for taking drugs, allowed to race. We've got people who have been told they came second. In fact, they came first.
Yes.
It's an absolute shambles. So I'm saying athletics is a massive villain. And people who went to see all of this nonsense were duped. They should never have paid good money for it. And I think that athletics is now the laughing stock of not just the sporting world, but the entire world.
Okay.
And I don't think we in London should be paying to have the competition anymore.
Yeah, well, you
I think
you may well be right.
That's a much more sensible way of looking at it.
Okay, so that's the first
one
hero.
Villain and one hero. So you're next.
So I'll go for a villain now. Okay,
all right.
My villain is Thibaut Courtois, who is Chelsea's goalkeeper.
You're just doing sporting things here, are you? You know we're on Talk Radio, don't you?
Excuse me.
It's not Talk Sport.
Excuse me.
It's not Talk Sport.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Right, these are my nominations, okay?
Yeah, right.
Jessica Ennis-Hill.
You're going to get marked down for this, you know that.
No, I'm not,
so
because...
you've got Jessica Ennis-Hill and a footballer.
No, Jessica Ennis-Hill is not an athlete anymore, so she's not a sporting character, okay?
So how come they've given her a medal then?
She got it retrospectively when she was an athlete.
Okay.
She's now retired and is a businesswoman, okay?
Yeah.
Get your facts right before you start denigrating my choices.
Yeah, how many years ago was it?
6 years ago.
6.
Thibaut Courtois, who is the Chelsea goalkeeper.
You can't even pronounce his name right.
Manages to blast.
Is this in a football match?
This is in the Community Shield, which is a national event.
You better explain it, because people listening to this channel do not necessarily know that much about football.
A national event is the Community Shield, played between the winners of the FA Cup and the Premier League title.
Oh, yeah.
It is a national event which kicks off the football season.
Explain it so much.
Which is one of the biggest events of the social calendar.
No, it's not.
Social, political, and sporting calendar.
Henley, Ascot, the Community Shield.
So Thibaut steps up. He's got the goalkeeper's shirt on. He blasted over the bar. Right, he should never have stepped up in the first place. Yeah. He was mad to try and usurp an outfield player to do it. Oh, yeah. Wrecked Chelsea's chances of starting the season on a high. He is my first villain.
Okay, my second villain is Channel 4.
Oh, you're going in the villains, are you?
I can do it any way I like.
Yeah, because you haven't thought of any heroes yet. Yeah, get on with it.
Well, it's certainly not going to be you, that's for sure. Channel 4 is my next villain, because I watched the first hour of the Diana Inside Story last night.
Yes.
And I was absolutely bored rigid by it. A lot of papers have done lots on it this morning saying, the final word from the grave, how Charles and Camilla can never now have a happy life together.
How many minutes of actual footage of Diana there was in it?
Well, it's a lot less than an hour and a half, which was how long the show was, right?
Hour and 50.
Yeah.
Show was an hour and 50.
And there was loads of rubbish, which was said by an actress. Obviously, Panorama wouldn't let Channel 4 have their, have their particular footage of there were three of us in this marriage thing, right? And so they had to go with an actress saying the words in a Diana-style voice. You know, to say there were three of us in this marriage. I mean, we could have all done that. Also, Channel 4, fronted up by Jon Snow, your mate, the world's greatest newsreader, who makes himself out to be, the world's most sort of bleeding heart bloke that you could ever walk the earth with, right? Yes. They have completely. We've now got the answer why they did it. Yeah. They've got the highest ratings for any show they've ever put on. Right. They've gone down this ghastly route of exploitation of a woman who's been dead for many years in order to try and get ratings. I think it's an absolute scandal. I think it's a disgrace, and it's been given far too much importance, and that's why, for me, Channel 4 are massive villains. Right, okay. So there's my second villain. I think that's pretty good to be
Channel 4, I mean, an entity rather than a person. Yes. This is supposed to be heroes and villains.
Well, my first villain was athletics.
Yeah, okay.
So, you don't seem to quite grasp that I beat you last year by a margin of 2-1.
Your first was athletics?
Yes.
That's sport, isn't it?
No, it's not.
And then you're attacking me for
not in
sport.
Not in this context. You had a sportswoman and a sportsman so far.
And you've had two entities, haven't you? Sport.
Yeah.
And
may I point out once again that I won this by 2-1 last year.
Yeah, well, this is a new season. Right, my second hero, Prince Harry. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Prince Harry.
Because you've just referred to the programme that went out last night. What did Prince Harry do the day before the programme went out? He took his girlfriend, Meghan, the very lovely Meghan, and he took her off to South Africa.
Oh, yeah.
So they're going to enjoy a holiday
Meghan's second name?
Meghan?
Yeah, what's the second name?
Hercule. Right? And what he decided was he decided to get out of the country.
Meghan Hercule.
Right? And he's a fine, upstanding young man. He didn't want to sit here and see his mother, the subject of yet more speculation about her life, her love life, her relationship with his father, Prince Charles. So he got out of the way. I have to say, Prince Harry is developing into a very fine young man and a guy who we can feel proud of as a member of our royal family. Upstanding.
Shocking.
Sends a message around the world. This is what we're made of. Good luck to Prince Harry. He's my second hero.
Are you still waiting to get you a CBE or something?
No.
You've seen the time, by the way.
Well, come on, you haven't finished the competition.
All right, we'll just do it very quickly, right? Yeah. My next hero, my first hero, Damien Hirst.
Yes.
Damien Hirst. Do you know why?
Damien Hirst, the guy who cuts cows in half and puts them in
that's the guy. Do you know why? Because he saved Ronnie Wood's life. Ronnie Wood was in Ireland, right? In a binge at the bottom of a booze and drugs binge, right? Driving himself into an early grave, well, actually a late grave in his case. Yeah. Damien Hirst went over to see him and rescued him and said, "I'm going to bring you back to Britain and I'm going to put you in rehab." Okay. As a result of which, he's given up smoking, he's given up drinking, he's given up taking drugs, and he's found, by the way, a piece of lung cancer in his lung. Had it cut out because he went early enough, and he's now living a very, very healthy life, a happy life. He's got 2 young twins, he's got a young wife, and Damien Hirst is a hero for saving him.
Yes, all very interesting.
There you go.
Right, okay.
Have we got time to finish this off?
Yeah, we have, yeah. Villain?
Yeah, you've got another villain to do, haven't you?
President Macron. Okay?
Macron?
President Macron of France.
Yeah.
Okay?
What's his first name?
Is President Macron... What?
What's his first name?
Doesn't matter. He is President Macron.
Macron.
Yeah. And he is trying to convert his wife, who is Mrs. Macron.
Mrs. Macron?
Yeah.
What's her name?
It doesn't matter. To all intents and purposes, he's trying to convert her into the First Lady.
Is that right?
He's looking for...
Well, she already is the First Lady.
No. He's looking for powers from the Republic, the Fifth Republic, to convert his wife from being the wife of the President to officially the First Lady. Under French law, the President's spouse has no formal role, no mention of First Lady in official documents. He is insisting she is addressed now as the First Lady.
Oh, yeah.
And the rest of France say no. And Macron is making a mess of France, an even bigger mess than it was before.
Really? You sure it's not...
Second villain.
You sure you're not...
With all the Brexit, shenanigans going on, this does not help.
Okay.
He should be thinking about Brexit, not making his wife the First Lady. He's a disgrace to European politics.
You think so? Okay, well, my final hero is Alan Sugar. You know, this is a guy who's paid a massive amount of money. Do you remember when he was asked... do you remember when he was asked, how much money have you paid in taxes? And he sent out the cheque stub.
Picture of a £59 million
cheque. So he's already a hero for that. He's now a hero for putting his 181-foot super yacht, complete with jacuzzi and 6 cabins, on sale for $12.6 million. He's clearly worked out.
What's heroic about that?
Well, what's heroic about it?
What's heroic about selling your yacht when you're a billionaire?
Is that
he's probably going to buy a bigger one.
No, he's not. He's actually...
I admire him for it.
I can tell you he's doing it because he doesn't want to be seen as too extravagant.
Rubbish.
So he's getting rid of the massive yacht to prove that he's in fact the man of the people, and he'll probably pay loads more money in tax as a result.
Rubbish. It's a very old yacht. It was built about 30 or 40 years ago. My bet...
You would fancy a yacht like that.
It's a very nice yacht, but my bet is he's getting a bigger and a better one.
I disagree. Anyway, those are my heroes and my villains.
Whatsoever he's doing it to try and, reduce his carbon footprint or anything.
Have you finished?
Yeah.
Have you got any more nominations?
No.
That's it. Results coming up after this.
The 21st Century Dream Team of dialogue, debate and discourse. The Two Mics on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Where is my mind? Where is my mind? Where is my mind?
You're listening to Talk Radio, the home of controversial talk from the likes of George Galloway and Julia Hartley-Brewer, who Porky once took to a football match. Twice, actually, I think.
More than once.
Yeah, more than once. For younger ears, listen to David Walliam's Story Time on at 3 p.m. on Sundays. My kids would love that, by the way. I'm going to have to tell them about that. I didn't know that David Walliams was on this station. I'm very pleased to be able to share it with him.
I'm delighted you are.
Now, how about this from Joe? He said, heroes and villains, quality. MG won this one by miles.
Rubbish.
Neil says, absolute shambles from Porky on heroes and villains.
Rubbish.
Was he on the Terps with that nephew on a drinking binge all weekend?
No, I certainly wasn't. And how anybody can say you're the winner when you didn't have a single person as a hero, you just had entities all over the place.
Rubbish.
A TV station and an organisation called Athletics. Nobody could possibly give it to you.
An organisation called Athletics? Really?
Well, yeah.
Another one from White's. MG wins heroes and villains hands down. Porky's did not require any thought at all.
Rubbish. I put loads of thought into it, much more thought than you did.
Oh, really?
Now, somebody has sent me a tweet, it is, in Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to read it out because, of course, one of our esteemed producers...
Well, Marta will judge whether or not you're reading it out correctly.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but I can't find it. That's the problem. Because we get so much information into this show. But it'll be here somewhere, so I will find it, OK? It's no problem at all.
So what am I supposed to do in the meantime?
Well,
shall I ask Cornelius, our producer, whether I've won Heroes and Villains?
Well, I think we need to know that. I think we need to know that, yeah.
Would you like to tell me, Cornelius, whether I've won
Well, why don't you tell me?
Heroes
You can tell us both at the same time.
Yeah, I'll tell you both at the same time.
Thank
you.
You can tell us why as well, if you wish.
Yeah,
yes.
sure. So me and Marta have made a joint decision.
Yes.
Very wise.
As Porky didn't fully know the name of either of his villains.
Rubbish. Of course I did. I wasn't going to bow to his demands.
Monsieur Macron.
I mean, you clearly gave up on first names after you called the first guy Furby or something.
Not at all. Yeah.
So we've awarded it to Mike Graham.
Well, you see, this is
thank you very
typical.
much. Once again, I go 1-0 into the lead. You see, this last year,
Rubbish.
I was in front.
That's a rubbish decision.
I was in front the whole way. So not much has changed, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I've got the measure now.
Have you found that tweet yet?
No, I'm still looking for it. I've got the measure of our new production team, and I have to say, not impressed.
Oh, you're not? Well, we can always change them, You can have a different production team every day of the week if you wish, if you prefer that. Well, you're a very difficult guy to work with, Porky. That's the trouble.
No,
I'd like them to stay the whole week, to be honest.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes,
They'll have to knock you into shape as well for next week.
Not me into shape at all. Now, I'll tell you what I want to talk to you about. There's loads of things I want to talk to you about, but... We have a wine tasting lady coming in on Wednesday.
We do. Helena Nicklin, her name
Helena
is.
Nicklin. This will be absolutely great, because guess what? I found a new book amongst my journals, okay?
Very good.
And what I'm going to put to... what's her name again?
Helena.
Helena. What I'm going to Helena is the... yeah, that's right, yeah.
She's very kindly agreed to come in on Wednesday, which coincides with my birthday, by the way.
That's right. What I'm going to put to Helena are the 7 best reasons why you should drink in moderation, because, of course, our mantra is... It is. Bladderation in moderation.
It is, absolutely. Yeah.
And guess what the first one is?
What is it?
Considering I couldn't remember a name, wine boosts your memory.
Oh, well, there you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, imagine how bad your memory would be if you didn't drink.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
That would be something to worry about.
Red wine in particular, I hope she's going to bring some reds. It says red wine can protect against diabetes.
Yes.
Okay. Red wine is especially high in antioxidants.
Antioxidants,
yeah.
Okay, which is anti-cancerous as well. That's good.
Some scientists believe red wine is good for your heart.
Yes.
It can stave off a cold in winter. It prevents arthritis.
Yeah.
It may reduce the risk of breast cancer in ladies, or even in men, because men can get breast cancer, believe it or not.
Of course.
And the last one is the only one I don't agree with.
Right.
It says, obviously, drinking to excess is bad for you.
Well, it is.
Well, it doesn't seem to have stopped you.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you can't say that is incorrect, because it absolutely is. When we were having a conversation, the reason we know Helena is because we got her on a show maybe a week and a half or so ago.
We did.
Because of the new advent of wine boxes.
Yes.
And the fact that wine boxes have kind of come back.
Yes, that's
people
absolutely
now
right.
love to buy them because they're much better quality. Because from the olden days, when we used to drink wine boxes kind of back in the 80s,
that's right.
The wine was awful.
Yeah, well, right,
but now it's actually very good.
Yeah.
And what I'd said to her is there are 2 reasons why she should come in. One, because we're trying to think of a theme for the wines she's going to bring in, and she's going to surprise us, I think, with a few. I'd suggested to her that because I'm going away on holiday to Greece, that she could perhaps bring in some Greek wine.
I didn't know Greece had wine.
Yeah, of course they do.
Well, they make their own.
They make a wine called Domestica, which if you've never been to a Greek restaurant?
Sounds like Domestos.
Well, we used to call it that, funny enough. But have you never been to a Greek restaurant?
I'm not big on Greek restaurants.
You're not big on Greek restaurants?
No, they serve taramasalata.
What?
Taramasalata?
Taramasalata.
Well, it's taramasalata, isn't it? And that's
taramasalata.
And that's like, that's like a sort of pate.
It's a fish-based dip.
Yeah, all right.
Which is pink.
It's
beautiful.
Yeah,
it's lovely on pita bread.
But then,
how can you be so pedestrian?
No, I'm not pedestrian.
You are.
Then the problem is that the rest of the Greek stuff is all sort of usually bathed in.
What about stuffed vine leaves?
Olive oil. Ooh, golly. Well, no, they're not bad. What do they put in the middle of them?
Well, you can stuff them with any number of things. Usually they're stuffed with rice and vegetables. You can stuff them with meat if you wish.
Yes, but
kebabs. Some of you like kebabs, don't you?
No, I don't like kebabs. I've never had a kebab.
What about moussaka?
Don't like moussaka.
You've never had? Have you ever had it?
Hang on, what is moussaka? I'm trying to remember.
Moussaka is a lamb-based dish with aubergines. Beautiful. It's a kind of Greek shepherd's pie.
No, don't like aubergines. So I wouldn't. I can't find this Spanish one. So I'll have to.
The Spanish one.
Wait until the Spanish message I was given.
Why not?
I don't know, because I can't get back to it. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So that's what's coming up on Wednesday. And the great thing is about this week is I
think we've got an impersonator coming on Wednesday as well, haven't we?
I think we have, actually, yeah. I think we have, yeah. I think you're absolutely right. Now... what I wanted to talk to you about
was... Well, you've only got about 3 minutes left.
I know. Now, at the start of the show, we invited Chris Eubank to come on the show.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
Now, we haven't heard back from Chris, but we're going to make further efforts to contact him this afternoon.
Yeah, OK.
Because what I believe is
English.
English, yes.
Maybe that's why he's not responding.
Pugilist.
Because you have to call him English, otherwise he doesn't come on.
I'm the pugilist. Now, what I was going to say is that I thought he was subject of a very... outspoken attack by his second wife, who I think they...
Yeah, what is she upset about, by the way?
She's upset about all his behaviour. She said he was a cheat, a fake, a liar, a preening peacock with pathological need for attention.
Yeah, but, what about any of his bad points?
Well, yeah, that's absolutely right. But the point is that invitation remains open, and we would love him to come in and talk to us, because I think he should have the right of reply.
Well, I believe that.
You were always, you've been bashing on about tabloid newspapers this morning.
Yeah,
there's something
shocking.
that, are a mystery to you.
Well,
whereas,
no,
in fact, you spent most of your life working in them.
No, that's not at
till
all
I
what I
rescued
said.
you and brought you into radio.
I did not say at all that I was mystified by tabloid newspapers. I just said that some of the excesses of tabloid newspapers are not things that I would have allowed when I was in that business.
Yeah.
I'll tell you a man who's probably got a very, very strong view on some tabloid newspapers.
Yeah.
That's the man coming up next here on Talk Radio, Mr. John Nicholson.
Indeed.
Who is, of course, himself a former SNP MP.
That's right.
Talking of which, look at the cushion you've given me to sit on.
Yeah, well, we didn't
a
put
Union
it in
Jack cushion.
Yeah. Well, when you come across the border, you got to accept that sort of thing. You see, if you want to, you stick with the old, St Andrew's flag. You have to stay north of the border, don't you?
But a bit of a political statement, though.
It is. It is, but
I mean, it's a nice cushion.
It is a nice cushion.
What are your cussions like?
I have no cushions.
Oh, we don't have cushions. It's been specially selected for me.
You should be thankful that you've got any kind of cushion at all.
Yeah, that's right.
Given
it's velvet.
You've formerly worked for what I can only describe as wealthier organisations than this one. So
profligate organisations.
Profligate.
Yeah, well, it's a kind of crushed velour Union Jack cushion.
It's the kind of thing you'd find in the back of a sort of a dodgy minicab, isn't it?
That's right.
Well, I was thinking a house in Chelsea, really, but
a house in Chelsea, possibly.
Yes. It's not very macho. That's the other thing I would say about it.
It's also kind of faded. Colours are all wrong.
A bit like the Union, in fact.
Well, you could say that, but of course, then if that was the case, there'd be another indie ref coming, you'd be winning it, which you're not going to, are you?
No, John, you've seen the lights.
Actually.
Oh, do you?
You've seen the light. You've taken the road.
Hang on, you just lost your seat in the Houses of Parliament.
I do. Well, that happens.
It does,
doesn't it?
But it's often an indication, though, isn't it?
It'd be an odd country if one party won every single seat.
You've headed for the seat of wealth in the United Kingdom, which is, of course, where we are now, inside the M25. You abandoned the north, so what are you going to? How are you going to explain all this away today?
Well, we're going to be talking about Princess Diana. Did you see that show last night?
I thought you were going to say something else there for a second. That shower of whatever it was. I saw the first hour.
What did you
think?
It
was awful.
Was it?
Just dreadful.
Yeah.
I just think there was absolutely no reason, one, to stretch it out. I mean, you're a TV man. You know how this stuff works. I mean, an hour and a half was way too long.
I think that there was only about 15 minutes, wasn't there?
10 minutes of actual footage.
Was it 10? I have to be honest and say I didn't watch it. It's not really my...
Not your scene. You're watching Poldark, weren't you?
It's not really my...
You didn't watch it?
You were. You're watching Poldark.
Well, hang on. So you're doing a radio show about a programme you didn't watch?
I am.
Blimey.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to... Good luck with that.
It's called ad-libbing.
That's it.
But no, I was having tea with my mum, actually, who's at my house. She's down staying.
Oh, I see.
So I was having tea. So I didn't watch it. I've read all the reviews, so I feel I know quite a lot about it.
That's good.
But... the consensus seems to be that it was a bit unsavoury. It was stretched well beyond its natural length.
It was.
It was to
but
get
we
an
learned
audience.
we learned nothing new, though, did we?
No, nothing at all. I mean, how hypocritical of Channel 4 as well. The great sort of, public service broadcaster that pretends that what they do is care about the cultural diversity of this country. In fact, they've now had the biggest hit of their entire careers by putting on a Princess Diana documentary.
Well, you know what their defence is? That they run populist shows in order to cross-fertilise and fund stuff that would otherwise... Well, it's true up to a point, isn't it?
Because what their hero Jon Snow would have thought of it all.
We do the same thing here at Talk Radio.
Exactly.
We do one or two successful shows and all the rest are rubbish.
Yeah, you broadcast class just to give other people opportunities.
It's true.
Not us personally, of course.
It's true.
No,
we only visit here occasionally.
That's okay. So you get stuck into the Princess Diana show. That's great. What else are you going to do for us today, John?
Well, we're also looking at why minority families earn £9,000 less a year than white people, and that's an interesting...
That's a disgrace.
Bengali families in particular earn a lot less than white people, and we're asking why that is, and we're also going to be asking why not a single footballer has ever come out as gay in either the English or the Scottish professional leagues.
Absolutely true. On the minority families,
by the way.
You don't worry about that.
He's got a whole show to talk about all this.
A lot of them work in family businesses, and I wonder whether they split, what they make across the whole family. You know what I mean?
Gay footballers?
No, you idiot. Minority families.
You don't really want to split a gay footballer, do you?
Who run a shop or something like that. You find that their families work round the clock. They're very hard-working people.
Yeah. Well, just leave John to do all that. That's his show he's going to do. John,
he's got lots of views about it, though, doesn't he?
Keep him on if you like. Otherwise, I'll stop him coming to the pub with me. I'll be more than happy about it.
Which I'm not doing.
John Nicholson coming up next. This is Talk Radio. We'll be back tomorrow.